Hi everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the Genre Equality Podcast. I'm Hidzir.
I'm Hardy.
I'm Isa.
And this month we have a lot to talk about. Weirdly enough, not so many titles, but a lot of controversies.
Yeah, man.
I don't want to go, Mr. Stark. Don't let me go.
But you have to go.
But you gotta go. Sony is taking Spider-Man back. We'll obviously be discussing that whole brouhaha towards the end of the show.
And,
We'll also be talking about all the big news coming out of D23.
Ooh, yes.
Disney's own Comic-Con.
Yep.
You know when I joked last month about how Disney was saving stuff? Or Marvel was saving
stuff? It
stuff?
wasn't a joke.
I didn't think it'd be that much. I thought they would save like 1 or 2 bits of news.
They had to make an entire convention, ma.
Yeah. Just if you're not talking about Star Wars, not talking about Disney animated, I'm just talking about Marvel. The amount of stuff that they announced,
goddamn,
is fit for a convention by itself. You know,
it's like Phase 5 and stuff. All
correct. And additions to Phase 4 that they've already announced.
Exactly.
Yeah, and of course we'll be talking about all the big movies and TV shows that came out. Specifically things like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Our favorite, greatest of all time comic book show of all time.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. A show that we used to love, Legion.
Yeah.
But
I thought this season was a bit better.
This season was a bit better. The Handmaid's Tale.
Yes.
And weirdly enough, Netflix actually brought back a lot of old 90s Nickelodeon shows. In terms of Invader Zim and Rocko's Modern Life. And they brought it back on the same weekend. It's weird lah.
Might as well.
It might as well, right? But first, I'm gonna start off with the Hugo Awards 2019.
How did that go,
guys? The Hugo Awards, if you don't know, is the genre equivalent of the Eisners lah, in terms of all literature, not just comic books lah. And it's one of the biggest. If you're a sci-fi writer, if you're a horror writer or a fantasy writer, the Hugo Awards is like winning an Emmy or like winning an Oscar. It's a prestigious deal, and it was the 77th Hugo Awards just this month. Nice. So I want to like just congratulate some of the big winners, specifically our not quite countrymen, but
countryman adjacent.
Malaysia's own author, Zen Cho, bagged a Hugo Award for the best sci-fi novelette.
Nice.
So congratulations. The novelette is titled "If at first you don't succeed, try again."
Oh.
Yep.
What's it about?
It's actually a really good book. I read it in one sitting. It's a very short book. It
literally.
I was taking a poop, if you guys want to know. It tells the story of Imuji, who is a quote-unquote lesser dragon who goes on a journey to attain a form of full-fledged dragonhood and gain entry into the gates of heaven.
Okay.
Along the way, Imugi meets a girl who accompanies the lesser dragon on his journeys. So it's a sweet tale. Of course, there are other winners like The Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal, Artificial Condition by Martha Wells, and the one that I really want to talk about, right, is the fan fiction website that won the award.
Oh, yeah. I heard about this too.
Yeah, so it's kind of a big deal because everybody who contributed work in a fan fiction
is considered a Hugo winner now.
A Hugo winner, exactly. You're right. And it's such a historic thing because fan fiction hasn't been taken seriously.
I mean, it's more of a writing exercise most of the time, rather than a serious book thing lah.
Yep.
Literature thing lah.
Yeah.
Usually writers use it as a writing exercise, or aspiring writers, and then people who want to fill in the gaps lah. Yeah.
Famously, the writer-director of The Cabin in the Woods, Drew Goddard, got his start in fanfiction. He wrote Buffy fanfic. He was noticed by Joss Whedon.
For a moment, I was going is he going to talk about 50 Shades of Grey?
Why?
Because there's a Twilight fanfic.
Oh,
it started out as Twilight fanfic.
Right, yeah. Well, if you are unaware, the website I'm talking about is called An Archive of Our Own. So please go check that out. Apparently, there's a lot of great fanfic there.
Yeah.
I haven't written fanfic since my live journal days.
Our great fan of fanfic is our good friend Chris Falk.
Shout out.
Who
writes a bunch of his own. I don't know whether he contributes to any Archive of Our Own stuff. He could be a Hugo winner, for all we know.
Yeah. Izyanti also, who has been on this podcast actually.
Correct, yeah.
She's
Last
also
year,
another
actually.
fanfic aspirant.
She writes a lot of slash supernatural fic.
That's quite cool, right?
That's pretty cool. Gotta shout out some of the stuff that is on screen. Very notable win for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which we all agree, right?
Yeah,
yes.
for sure.
It has to win all the awards.
Has to.
And of course, the best dramatic presentation, long form and short form, goes to The Good Place. Specifically for the Darcy episode.
Oh, I love that episode.
Yeah.
We love that episode.
Did she just win all the awards?
She did.
Like when they presented the cast, it's just like her,
just her.
Janet.
The episode was so good though.
Yeah, man. So congrats to all the various Hugo Award winners.
Yeah,
Monstrous actually beat out 2 Brian K. Vaughan books in paper goals, which I'll be talking about later.
Okay.
And Saga. As I mentioned, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, they beat out Sorry to Bother You, which we loved as well.
Yeah,
it beat out A Quiet Place, which we loved as well.
Also,
it beat out Black Panther, which we loved as
we
well.
Loved also.
Infinity War and Annihilation. All of them were all very highly rated by us. You know?
Yeah, we liked all of that.
But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I think, yeah,
quality. I mean, even though it didn't like destroy the box office, it was the lowest Spider-Man movie
of the list.
Of the list? Yeah.
Do you want to know who The Good Place beat out?
Who?
The Good Place beat out itself. It beat out Jeremy Bearimy, that episode.
Oh no!
But okay, like there were other things as well.
Yeah.
It also beat out Doctor Who's Demons of the Punjab, which I actually reviewed.
Oh yeah, you did.
It beat out The Expanse, Abaddon's Gate, which was an
that was
incredible
another good episode.
Yes, and it beat out, weirdly enough, an album by Janelle Monáe called Dirty Computer.
Oh wow!
Which was also considered for dramatic presentation.
I mean, we didn't go through that, but
I talked about it a bit in Quick Hits because it was a short film as well that accompanied the whole album lah. Very very wonderful work, and do check out all the books I mentioned, especially our Malaysian girl Zen Cho. Her book is available online. You can get it on Kindle if you're not the physical type, but you can go to Kinokuniya as well and get it there.
All right.
We would like to kick off this episode by talking about. I don't know how many times I can say this.
Say it.
The tremendous, spectacular, amazing, best comic book show of all time.
Okay, basically you can say one more time lah.
You want me to say it again?
I mean,
we got one
more season, right?
Yeah, one more season.
The best comic book show of all time.
There we go.
It's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
There we go.
Season 6.
Ooh.
If you gave up halfway in the middle of season 1, I don't know what to say to you lah. You just missed out on one of the greatest shows.
Yeah.
Like when I started this podcast, I did not think the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would be going as strong as it did until now.
Yep.
There are very few shows that we review that is this consistently strong every year.
Yeah.
Like I can only think of maybe The Expanse.
Yeah,
you know,
but it has a shorter runtime also.
Of course,
it hasn't been around so long, right?
But admittedly, this season was only 13 episodes as well for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. But like I can only think of The Expanse and very few shows like.
Usually, it's outside the genre.
The Magicians for me personally.
Oh yeah.
But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At this point, right?
Once they like cut off the tether to the MCU lah.
Yeah. And sure, you may argue that Doom Patrol had a better season this season. Yeah, it did.
It was different. Okay.
Yeah. Or Legion season 1 was better than any of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. seasons.
Sure.
But I mean, could they string together a bunch of great seasons? Because they couldn't.
No.
Or at least in the case of Doom Patrol, hasn't proven that it can.
Yeah. We'll see.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has proven it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
They defended their championship, and to me, that's what makes a champion.
Yeah. This is the Tom Brady of TV shows.
The GOAT. The GOAT, especially of comic book shows.
Yeah, comic book
but
shows.
I'm gonna go as far to say as genre shows because very few shows are just this consistent. Greatest of all time, not even a close race. I mean, what do you guys think about the latest season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Well, it continued its tradition of just mind-blowing shit lah, right?
Yeah.
This time, I love that we were going all around the place.
Yeah.
Right? We had stories in space, we had stories back on Earth, we had a multiverse kind of thing going on with Sarge and his crew, and the additions of villains who are actually compelling lah.
They weren't from the multiverse, but
I know. Sorry,
no spoiler review.
No spoiler review yet. Yeah, sorry, not multiverse. But I don't know how to explain it. But anyway, yeah, they came from somewhere else lah.
Came from somewhere else.
Yeah.
You'll figure that out towards the end.
Yeah, exactly. I thought there was brilliant chemistry between like Yo-Yo and Mac again, as usual. Their whole story, and then that guy Keller, right?
It's a bit of a waste, I think.
Yeah. I loved all the like little side characters.
Keller has been around since season 3, guys. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah, but he's always one of the background guys, you know.
I didn't realize how much I loved him until what happened to him.
Yeah. Sorry, that's like a minor spoiler.
Yeah, but I mean, Keller is a minor character.
Yeah, exactly. Sadly lah. Yeah. But yeah, so this felt more urgent than the other seasons.
Shorter runtime,
yeah, correct.
Yeah, for sure. The
so
pacing definitely
was fast, and like, every episode had so many things going on, happening. By the end of the episode, you're like just exhausted. You're like, wow, that just happened.
Yeah.
And I this was one of those shows because it came out every week, right?
Yeah.
I binged. I would say like I binged like 6, and then I waited every week after that.
Like a trade paperback lah.
Yeah. And then, so it, I was just I couldn't wait for the next episode to come out. I really enjoyed it without any spoilers lah. The Fitz and
Gemma episodes. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just heartbreaking and just just beautiful.
Every season.
Yeah.
Every season we get one Fitzsimmons
Like
episode.
Fitz and Simmons.
And I think this one might be the one of the sweetest ones so far.
Yeah. So I mean, what about you, Isa? Just like overall thoughts on the season.
I do like the fact that they kept it to 13 episodes. I think that really helped. And
I think the only reason they got renewed, I think they got renewed for 26 episodes, which would normally be one season, but they split into two.
Yeah. So they've kind of tailored away from what was the 3-arc. 3-arc season.
They called it like
episodes.
pods.
Yeah. And now they're just doing like one straight through for the 13 episodes. I really like that. I think it's a bit of a break for us from what they had done in season 5, as well as it really helped the pacing. I think like it was just the right amount of content and action in every episode to keep me, because I binged it all at one go, right? I wasn't waiting for it to keep me interested the entire time. There are times when I binge stuff, right, and it's just like episode 4 and then episode 12. I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of like saturated with this, but none of that this time round. I think there was enough twists and turns to keep anyone interested. And always second guessing at any given point in time. So I really enjoyed it. I have to say that this is one of my favorite seasons so far, hands down.
And season 4 maybe slightly better, but this is a great season.
It is a great season. And I barely have any complaints about it. And as we have had very little complaints over the last 4 years.
Seasons,
So super happy what they're doing, and I hope we can dive into spoiler territory a bit and see what we can talk about.
I mean, it's so weird that this show is still so perennially underrated.
Yeah.
Not even amongst fans, but even within the Marvel community in terms of the creatives.
Yeah.
Because it frequently seems like the red-headed stepchild of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, it does.
And the thing that worried me the most going through the season was that season 5 ended with what most fans would call a series finale.
Yes.
It almost felt like a perfect series finale until ABC made the surprise decision to renew it for 2 seasons.
Yeah. 2 or 1?
2. I mean, technically it's the episode order is 1 season, but they split into 2. Yeah, but thankfully they found a way to tell plenty of cool new stories in this quote-unquote post-Coulson era.
Yeah.
I mean, the creative team is kick-ass. They show no signs of weakening.
Yeah.
I think season 6 is, as Isa mentioned, nearly flawless, as the last 3 to 4 seasons have been.
It was balls to the wall, man.
Balls to the wall. There's this mystery of... really intriguing mystery of Coulson, who he is, where he came from. The rescue of Fitz 2.0 or 1.0, I guess, in space.
1.0, right? He came from the past.
1.0.
Yeah. And it all weaves together into this like world-ending threat involving like incorporeal aliens and body-snatching birds, which sounds weird lah.
But fuck, it was scary.
It's so good though.
And as usual, as Adi mentioned, there's so many great turns filled with a lot of super plotting,
right?
Awesome action, and a great care for various character arcs, even within all of that. As usual, S.H.I.E.L.D. maintains a breakneck pace. Ever since it started doing the pod format, it was always very fast, with exciting builds and pressing threats that coalesce into this epic action-packed, mind-blowing climax that S.H.I.E.L.D. is so skilled at doing. Like at the end, when they were facing off with the big bad, and then a second big bad came at the beginning of the last episode. And then I was, wow, this is the worst timing, but the best timing dramatically lah. It was great lah, and I really like how they built their own mythos.
Yeah, they have.
Like they are no longer relying on the comics or what's happening in the MCU in general. They have their own stories to draw from and their own callbacks and everything. And it really goes for broke with another ballsy ending that totally upends the status quo once again. They've been to the future. Where do they go now?
Where else?
And shout out to once again Fitzsimmons episode.
Yes,
heartbreaking, mind blowing. Caught in a mind prison with so many callbacks to their history together, from being trapped underwater by Grant Ward to Hydra Fitz to the surprise manifestation of like Gemma Simmons's repressed trauma in the form of some Ringu monster.
Yes.
I mean
that is a good description.
Yeah, it is.
And this is this cursed couple trope that never stops being compelling.
It's the Downton Abbey.
The Downton Abbey thing, right, yeah. It's a beautiful narrative, like when he threatened Simmons with like, oh, why don't I bring back Ida if you're still a child, and that kind of thing. And then she like came back. It's like, what the fuck,
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
It's all those small moments that I really loved. But I mean, that 2-part finale, right? Fucking crazy, bro.
It was.
The May fight with the sword fight.
Yes.
up and down the stairs and everything. Yeah,
it was up there with all the Netflix fighting scenes
for sure,
like in Daredevil and all that.
Yeah. I guess we'll delve into spoiler territory after we give our ratings. So what would you rate this season?
I'll give it a 8.5.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8.5 as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna give it an 8.5. Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's talk about the finale.
Yeah. Okay.
Spoiler.
Spoiler territory. First of all, Coulson being a manifestation of the third monolith.
Yes.
Very cool.
Very Harry Potter.
I love that they brought back the rock kid from the future.
Flint.
Flint. Yeah. Forgot his name. Yeah, the rock kid from the future, and then he rebuilt the fucking. I didn't even think of that, like narratively.
Nope, I did not.
Like
we were so far away from that already.
Yeah, like when she brought him back, the big bad villain lah.
It made sense.
What's the name?
Hidzir,
right?
Yeah.
I was like, why? And then I was like, oh fuck, yeah.
To build the fucking monolith.
He can make monoliths.
But even like the fucking red herring, right? Where they were going on and on about we've got nothing to fear, and then she goes like, who is that? And it pans over. And I'm just like, wow, come on guys, do you have to do us like that? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, beautiful narrative, tying it all together, all the mythos that they build up. And that finale had a lot of incredible fight scenes, a lot of incredible surprises with Coulson, will he or won't he turn to their side?
Well,
when he stabbed Agent May
in the stomach.
I mean, I knew she wasn't gonna die, but still, it didn't lessen the dramatic impact of it.
Especially like when he pushed her into the portal, right?
Yeah.
And then like,
you're not sure.
You're not sure.
Yeah, you're not sure.
Exactly. But then, like inside the portal, where you're incorporeal, so death doesn't matter, you can't bleed out, things like that. So it made sense that she would live, lah.
Yeah.
You know. At the same time, like, but didn't have the MacGuffin of the magic sword, which can kill them. Yeah.
But the sword's in her, so it's okay.
So I like the little thing that they did showing new Coulson's power level.
Yes.
In terms of how like he just like stood there fucking no selling Daisy's quick abilities.
Attack,
And then she did one hand and then she did two hands. And he was just like, whatever.
I'm more powerful than you.
I know, right? And to think like last season, I was like, maybe Quick with the graviton powers can beat Thanos. No lah, cannot lah. I'm sorry lah. Now that I see it in effect against like this lesser aliens, like no lah.
Lesser aliens, somehow.
It's true.
Yeah, he is an alien.
Yeah.
Chronicoms, I didn't know where they were going with it.
No, me neither.
Well,
they kept having like this little stingers at the end of each episode, right? And then you're like, where is this going? I guess they're going to season 7 with them.
Yeah.
Or do it like the real big bad lah.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have any spoilery thoughts that you wanna like just spill?
Wow, they killed off a lot of people, man.
Well, Keller. we can say it for sure
Davis.
now. Davis, yeah.
That Davis' death was really like, whoa. It's just a fall and then he just hit his head.
Yeah,
man.
That was pretty brutal.
That was like the possession thing was quite cool.
Correct, yeah.
And like how she used her possession to kill him.
The possession power, the way they visualized it was very cool.
I loved it.
Jumping from body to body.
Yeah, I love that. I loved May's story arc throughout.
Yeah.
Her confusion at what the hell Sarge was.
Yeah.
And then her slow realization what he is. And
her hope.
And her hope, yeah.
There was this one moment where Daisy was the one who was telling May that like you're letting your emotions get in the way, right?
Yeah.
She was gonna go kill Sarge, and then Sarge called her Sky.
Yeah.
And then like
because his memories like were coming back.
Exactly right. So like there was such a good one-word way to explain why she wouldn't do it. Because I was thinking like, of course she would kill him lah. There's nothing he can say, and he totally like destroyed my argument with one word, you know. And I was like, oh yeah, that would definitely evoke the father-daughter feelings that they have lah.
You're referring to Martha as the other
Martha,
word.
yeah, he could have said Martha, right? So what do you say the name?
I mean, also the review at the end, you know, LMD
Coulson back,
but now it's like Chronicom. LMD
infused in 1931 in the past.
Fucking cool.
Yeah. Do you guys see the season 7 teaser?
Of your Facebook lah.
So it was it's now set in 1931. They're going back to the past.
Are they bringing Haley?
Odds are, the entire Agent Carter cast is rumored to be coming back.
I do not mind,
including Jarvis and Howard Stark and all that.
Let's go.
Of course, Hydra will be back because Hydra's still around.
Let's go.
I mean, I think it's the Chronicoms are great. I mean, I love the Chronicoms. Enoch is fucking cool.
I love Enoch now.
I love his deadpan delivery for
Fitz's
everything.
best friend. And the whole friend out was actually quite sweet.
The one that he changed his mind.
Yeah.
But I did something bold.
But as cool as the Chronicles are, right, Shield has to end with Shield versus Hydra, right?
Yes lah, that makes sense, right?
I mean, Hydra is like the one big bad.
And since they're destroyed now, might as well use them later lah.
I don't know how they're gonna bring back Grant Ward, but they will.
Yeah,
they're saying lah.
I
mean, like this one, he comes back all the time.
One last time.
And I like that they saved like one season without Grant Ward.
Yeah,
that's true.
So like
is this the
first season that Grant Ward was not in.
Because he cameoed
in the framework arc.
Framework
he was
arc.
there.
The Agents of Hydra arc.
Yeah,
and then he was Hive.
Yeah, he was Hive. Yeah.
And then season 1 and 2 he was normal Grant Ward.
Normal Grant Ward.
Good guy Grant Ward, bad guy Grant Ward.
And then
Hive. And then framework Grant Ward.
Yeah.
So how are they gonna bring him back?
Oh. 19 okay. LMB lo.
Another one?
Another one. Let's do another LMB. It's such a MacGuffin. Let's go.
Yeah, or like one of those like fear monoliths or whatever.
Yeah, why not?
Right?
That would be so good though.
I mean, of course, like that will be their greatest enemy, like Grant Ward, lah.
Grant Ward.
Like it has to be, right? It just feels perfect. I don't know how they're gonna like.
We'll see.
Tie it in.
I mean, Grant Ward's turn was one of the best things that happened for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Hands down.
Right? Back in the day.
Yeah. It paralleled like the Winter Soldier arc, and then totally revamped the show.
Thank God.
Fantastic. If you don't watch the show, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, just go to season 1, episode 15. I think that's when it gets really good, and then it just sort of builds all the way there. I still think like maybe season 4 was like its pinnacle. During the Ghost Rider arc and then the framework arc and even the LMB arc. Now that I'm rewatching it, like it's good too, right? Yeah.
I was actually hoping Reyes would make a reappearance since they referenced him so much.
I'm sure they'll make a reappearance.
But he's like doing Terminator.
And he also has his own Ghost Rider show coming up on Hulu as well. Yeah.
Oh well.
But weirdly enough, that Ghost Rider show is not tied to
this
Agents of
MCU.
S.H.I.E.L.D. It's not set in the MCU at all.
Yeah.
It is an alternate universe where I guess now he lives
Wait,
in Texas.
is Agents still considered canon?
Agents is technically canon because Agent Carter is there, Coulson is there.
Yeah.
But it's loosely canon lah.
It's like very loose, right? It's like canon adjacent now, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is I think the best place to be because you don't want to be too directly
tied in also, right?
Yeah, directly like weighed down.
Yeah.
Now they can go to their own routes. If you wanna like hit canon in your head, how I've thought about it is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, season 5 onwards, exists in the universe where Thanos left. Because if you remember, like Thanos in the past, he left his timeline to go to another timeline to fight our Avengers, right?
Yeah.
So that timeline
doesn't have Thanos.
Yeah, so Thanos never made it to Earth. Which is why they don't reference the blip or anything.
Correct.
Yeah, so in my head, they just exist in that timeline lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Right, yeah. I mean, I would like for them to elucidate it, but like my head
it's
does
fine.
the work.
That's enough. That's enough.
Indeed. Next up, let's talk about the new season of The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, yes, son.
Based on Margaret Atwood's seminal novel, the first 2 seasons of The Handmaid's Tale have been very urgent, very politically resonant.
Relevant.
Relevant. Brilliant, but also oppressive. It's a series about an authoritarian theocracy where women are slaves, and it isn't supposed to be pretty.
Nope.
But its depiction of female misery was starting to feel
very
unbearable, verging on oppression porn. Thankfully, season 3 trades in some of that brutality for hope, as June and the others slowly start to catalyze.
Like the revolution is finally starting.
In Gilead, a lot of people forget the book is a history lesson. The book was a chapter in history. It was looking back into a distant past where Gilead existed. The revolution already happened. They're now teaching kids about how fucked up that was. So
correct.
Did happen. So I was waiting for the show to like, when are we gonna get there?
Well, we got a tiny glimpse at the end of season 2.
Right. You know? But like, okay, they're doing it in small ways, and I understand the need to do it this way because a depiction of a real world revolution and how you overthrow something this massive should not be easy, should not happen overnight. But at the same time, it shouldn't be forever lah. And it's starting to feel like forever. But okay, the revolution's happening. Bit of hope. The air of dread and uncertainty for this woman is still stifling, but there are like the moments of victories, the moments of catharsis to cling to amidst the suffering, right? And by the end, I was heartened to see the revolution take shape. The finale, I feel, was huge. It was tense and triumphant, and almost like biblical in a book of Exodus kind of way. With Atwood's original book, the epilogue revealed, Gilead's a thing of the past. This is how they're gonna get there. I like how season 3 continues to expand Edward's world in a surprising way. Look into Gilead's stronghold, Washington DC.
Oh man,
very frightening.
That was so scary.
The place is even more fundamentalist and oppressive than June's current environment because they exist on the outskirts. Gilead's diplomatic relations with other countries also very eye-opening. Relations with Canada,
Switzerland,
and America, which is now based in Hawaii. And plus, like we have to say this, it goes without saying, so we take this for granted. But Elizabeth Moss is amazing.
She is.
And I feel like last season when I reviewed it, I kind of overlooked Elizabeth Moss because like we take for granted how good she is, right? Yeah. But her acting is always top notch. If you're like, I mean, she's okay. Like we're a wrestling podcast on the side. She's like Kenny Omega, like we take her so for granted. She's always like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 performances all the time.
Yeah.
Minor spoilers ahead, but there's a scene late in the season where she's talking to Commander Lawrence.
Yes.
Bradley Whitford.
Yes.
She's talking him through her own rape.
Yep.
That's insane. Like she is trying to convince him to rape her because if he doesn't, they would both die.
Yeah.
Like Lawrence doesn't want to do the ceremony because it will break his wife. But June understands that if he doesn't do it, all three of them are dead. They're on the wall, right?
Yep.
So she's there, forced to be supportive and informative and helpful in her own rape, which is just a new layer of awful that I haven't seen depicted in the show.
Yeah.
It's actually quite brilliant writing, and the way Moss played that scene, exceptional.
I mean, there were so many scenes where Elizabeth Moss just stole it.
A lot of it's in her face, right? The eyes,
Yeah, she has just that face.
Yeah.
And, okay, it's a lot of spoilers I cannot say now.
Yeah.
But, great. But I loved how there was that story of Canada, what's happening in Canada as well.
Yeah.
I mean, to parallel what's happening in Gilead. And how we also had characters which I thought were kind of going nowhere with the Waterfords.
Yeah.
And how the Waterford story was so integral in this season as well.
Right. The Waterfords, I guess, to keep it non-spoilery, comeuppance.
Yeah.
Was shocking and satisfying. Because I didn't expect.
Yeah, I also didn't expect that to happen.
Because I was like, where are they going with Yvonne Strahovski? She's good, she's bad, she's good, she's bad. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I guess this is where we're going with it.
Right. And I'm glad that they didn't let Yvonne Strahovski's character off the hook either, because she's as complicit as Commander Waterford is. Yeah. I think. Because
at the moment you're thinking, okay, she's gonna get away with all this. Yeah.
She struck a deal and all of that, On the downside, and I think this is something The Handmaid's Tale has been criticized with before. Yeah. If you watch Dear White People season 3, there is a spot-on parody of the show in the show. Yeah. But more than ever, the story really feels like a white feminist version of dystopia, which is different to a feminist dystopia.
Okay.
In small but crucial ways. Okay. Twice this season, June's selfishness and attempts to seize autonomy have led to black women being killed. To their credit, and I didn't realize it at first, but to their credit, it's an intentional indictment of white feminism, and it's pretty well played because it's organically folded into how much June has cracked, and it makes her more layered and complex. And she's not the perfect protagonist or heroine, and she turns quite ruthless for a while because she's willing to sacrifice these black women.
Arc, yeah.
Correct, especially the last arc, and considering what's happened to her, it's understandable why she's cracked this way. So you can't quite blame her. At the same time, you can kind of realize this is a white feminist idea of heroism.
Yeah,
where black women not only die, but their deaths don't even matter in the end. She's being positioned as a revolutionary, you would say, June, right?
Definitely.
But if you dig deep into the biography of any revolutionary or freedom fighter, you would see that they do awful things.
Yeah.
Because of trauma, or because of the need for revenge, or even because of the greater good. And June is all these things. So I think that framing her as a revolutionary in this way is very subtle, very layered, very complex.
I mean, she feels like a dirty Joan of Arc.
Yeah. The Joan of Arc that will exist in the real world and have to make real world sacrifices, like ruinous sacrifices.
I mean, Joan of Arc is real, but then she was never.
I mean, but a lot of Joan of Arc's story is mythologized.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But it's always portrayed as this clean, saintly character with no flaws at all, and that she was injustice was done to her.
The winners write the history,
Yeah. Well, yeah. But in this case, you see June. When she found the gun, using the gun, just crazy shit.
She almost killed a little child in the end, because of her.
Because they were trying to run away.
Right, yeah. I think one slight downside to The Handmaid's Tale again is we're talking about Elizabeth Moss's facial acting, right? How great it was. So I feel like a lot of the times the voice-over work, the narration by Elizabeth Moss, I mean, she obviously is not writing it,
yeah,
it's unnecessary because it's already expressed in her face.
Thank
so
you.
it kind of beats you over the head with things that I can tell from her eyebrows, all the magnificent small nuances and ticks in her face. She's telling the story already.
Exactly.
Let her tell the story.
So this is so weird because when you watch Dear White People,
Right?
and the narration is so graphic and so.
Yeah.
So whenever I watch Handmaid's Tale, immediately Dear White People comes.
Then you start like rolling your eyes a bit, right?
My eyes also.
So I think if they cut out the narration and just let
Might be better, actually.
Elizabeth Moss do her thing. Maybe let her read the narration and then she can tell them like, I don't need this. I know how to say it with my eyes.
Yeah.
And she does,
She does.
Yeah. She's so good.
She is.
But sometimes to the detriment of the show's writing, because it shows you how unnecessary some of the writing is. Yeah. Just let Elizabeth Moss do it, man. In interpretive dance, she can do it or whatever, because of the slight downsides, because of do you have any more like thoughts and complaints before we get to the
honestly,
final thoughts?
I think we've said it more or less lah.
Yeah,
more or less. I have the same feelings about this season.
I think it's a good season.
I think it's better than 2.
Yeah, but because of the slight downsides, I rate it at 7.
Yeah, I was going to go 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much do you rate season 2, by the way, if I recall?
I think it should be around 7 or so.
Oh, slightly lower lah. I mean, season 2 was a good. Handmaid's Tale has never done a bad season.
No.
It's just that the cracks are starting to show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they're getting the revolution forward now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm looking for. It made me want to see season 4.
Yeah.
By the end of season 3, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, what's June going to do now? It's no longer. Oh no, she's going to be tortured again.
I would like to see the show proceed to a point where she lives long enough to see herself become the villain.
Yeah.
A Lee Kuan Yew of sorts.
Yeah, because right now it feels like she's no longer the victim.
Yeah.
Right now she feels like she is taking charge of her destiny.
Correct lah.
Yeah.
In good and bad ways.
In good and bad ways.
Yeah, because she needs to sacrifice some people to achieve this quote unquote greater good, which it is a greater good lah. I'm not gonna quote unquote that lah.
Yeah, that's right.
But at the same time also like giving up a lot of her humanity to do it lah.
Yeah. But I love that kind of story. See.
Yeah. So that mitigates my complaints about the show moving too slowly, because I realized that it can't move too fast either.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky balance to achieve. So 7 out of 10 from me, 7.5 from Hardy. Next up, let's talk about the 3rd season of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
Let's do it.
If She-Ra's truncated short 2nd season left you wanting more, you weren't alone. That's because season 2's length led to a chunk of Adora's story feeling incomplete, I feel.
Yeah.
But I think thankfully the 3rd season is quite propulsive and focused and universe expanding, that it makes up for it. Not only does it give She-Ra's sizable cast space to evolve and explore complex relationship dynamics, it also introduces fascinating new revelations, non-spoilery, about the nature of She-Ra's magic and her connection to Etheria. It's totally game-changing. Weirdly enough, at 6 episodes, it's actually more compact than season 2.
Yeah.
But because it's more serialized in its nature, there's a sense of urgent momentum and importance in terms of moving the stories forward. It almost feels like a movie. And that's what I liked about season 3. I saw you caught it as well,
Yeah,
right?
I did.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think leaps and bounds better than season 2. Season 2 felt like kind of like a pastiche of like little character arc that they wanted to kind of like get over and done with so that they could get to season 3.
Noel Stevenson complained that season 2 was supposed to include these 6 episodes as well.
Right.
Netflix's decision. It was Netflix's decision to spread them.
I see. Well, okay, then that completely explains it. I didn't rewatch season 2 to kind of get to that, just because I didn't think it was necessary. But I could see how it would tie together as like one full season. Yeah. I mean,
because the 6 episodes felt like the climax, right?
Yes, it did.
And then season 2 went nowhere because he didn't have a climax.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's good. I mean, She-Ra grows up more.
Yeah.
Catra grows up more. Everyone grows, right, in its own kind of way.
Great character work. Yeah.
I was particularly sympathetic to Shadow Weaver's story arc this time around, and I thought that it was touching in a way that I didn't expect, right? Because I had very little sympathy for Shadow Weaver, even as her backstory started to get more be revealed more, right, as the seasons passed. Overall, I thought it was good. I definitely think that they should have kept it as one season together with season 2. It would have made so much more sense. But on its own, I think the 6 episodes were very compelling. For sure. It was an easy watch. What was it, like a total of like 3 hours?
6 episodes, 3 hours, slightly less maybe.
Slightly less than 3 hours. Yeah. So like all in all, like I really enjoyed that. I'm very curious to where they go from here.
That's what really intrigues me lah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know wherever they go, they'll do great character work. Not like they won't become a story-driven or mythology-driven show, because it is the best parts of the show is character building,
and it has been so far. But I think this is the first time we're really seeing
interested in the mythology, because I didn't give a shit before.
Exactly,
now I give a shit.
Right? Yeah, and I was just like, oh, okay, finally we're getting to who the first ones are.
Yeah,
where it all comes from and why the Horde are where they are. Like all these like important questions that we've kind of just ignored because like it's just background for the story. I mean, for the character arc.
Yeah.
But I'm finally paying attention, and I'm really, really keen to see what they do next.
I think She-Ra's heroes are great. They do some character work exploring their interior lives, but the show weirdly, truly belongs to its villains.
I think so too.
This season, like Ketra, Scorpia, even Hordak,
I didn't expect Hordak to
are like forced to reckon with the fact that they're not as in control as they would have you believe.
Nope.
For much of the season, She-Ra's villains are in a more defensive, ruminative space, which leads to some interesting developments. It isn't surprising that there's more to Hordak's story than being a round-the-mill villain.
Yeah.
But the extent to which Hordak becomes a more compelling character is surprising.
It is.
Especially if you learn more about his origins, his weaknesses, his ability to recognize when people like Entrapta are truly good influences on him. I think more than anything else, this season feels like it finally nails She-Ra's themes of trying to define one's place in the world.
Yes.
But as Isa mentioned, what's truly exciting is the show's bold steps towards expanding the world beyond this one small conflict. She-Ra takes a hard turn into a heavy sci-fi, which is exciting because it opens up so many possibilities. I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. How about you?
Yes, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 too.
Yeah, I gave season 2 a 6 so this is an improvement.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, if it had been one season, how would you have rated it? I still think the first half, which would have been season 2, was weak.
6.5?
Yeah, probably same here.
I just averaged it out. I was kind of cheating there.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if they had kept it as a full season, it wouldn't have been as strong, I think, as having 2 separate seasons.
Yeah. Next up, I'm gonna delve quickly into a segment we like to call Quick Hits. This is where I watch all the things that my co-hosts they don't have time to watch because it is my job to watch movies and TV shows. First thing I'd like to talk about is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Yes, that's one hell of a long title, and it's based on a famous kids book. Unlike Jack Black's silly Goosebumps movies, Andre Ovredal's, oh my god, I butchered his name, Andre Ovredal, and Guillermo del Toro's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark takes its source material a bit more seriously. Horror for kids doesn't need to be kiddie, and this film is an ideal gateway to introduce younger modern fans to the thrill and joy and craft of horror. Much like how Alvin Schwartz's Scary Stories collections inspired a young horror fan and me, personally.
Yeah.
This is a horror movie about the power of horror storytelling.
Okay.
The way they folded the book's anthology structure into one overarching story is very clever. Although the plot is simplified for children, there's still much to admire here. It sneaks in legitimately gruesome nightmare imagery that sometimes feel beyond its all ages demographic. There's a danger that a kids movie that is for kids to be overly protective, don't you think? But with some of the deaths here, some of the sequences here, it tells you right away that there are stakes. That just because a character is a child doesn't mean terrible fates won't befall them. Likewise, the film's dedication to recreating Stephen Gamel's unforgettably ghoulish artwork is stunning. Those illustrations haunted my dreams as a child, and to see those monsters brought to life was a joy. I expect nothing less from Del Toro, who has a history of great creature design. Shouts out to the makeup team, the prosthetic guys, the practical effects guys, the actors in the suit. Yeah, great work being done there, man.
I saw a bit of the BTS video.
Fantastic work, right?
Crazy.
Yeah. I have to mention the kid actors here too because they were great. The girl who plays Stella, Zoe Margaret Coletti, is a star in the making. She's a great tiny little scream queen, and she carries the emotional weight of the story with some shockingly good acting. Without her, we wouldn't be half as invested. The movie doesn't condescend to kids, but even still, the addition of political subtext like Nixon and Vietnam and domestic abuse and small town racism surprised me. Like it scares, it doesn't hold back much in terms of giving kids something to feel and think about. It's the rare horror movie that feels suitable, quote unquote, for adolescents and determined to really scare the shit out of them. It's a wonderful gateway drug for horror for like young teens or like people between 9 and 12. I think is like acceptable for this. But there are moments that feel like it's for 18 and above.
Alright, so the parents can go also lah.
Can go also like but this is like sneakily all ages.
Okay.
You know, like we want to like introduce you, but then like We want to like
we don't kill you all the way.
We won't kill you all the way lah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Next up, I'm gonna be talking about Infinity Train.
Oh yeah, how's this?
Wait, did I rate it? No, I rate Scary Stories is a 7 out of 10.
Okay,
I forgot to rate it.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Next up, I'm going to talk about Infinity Train, which is Cartoon Network's new cartoon. It follows a 12-year-old girl named Tulip who runs away from a broken home to attend a video game design camp. She's a gifted coder, a smart puzzle solver, but more than that, her dream of designing games represents a path to adulthood and freedom away from her family, who are very dysfunctional. On her way to camp, she boards a train, but it's not just any train. She finds herself aboard a seemingly endless train where each car contains a separate universe. The show follows her almost Sisyphean quest to escape the train, making her way through surreal, fantastical, and imaginatively realized worlds ad infinitum. And that's where the show shines, because each universe is so wonderfully realized. Each universe is kind of familiar yet warped, kind of a warped dreamland of astounding characters, some of which become friends, some of which becomes enemies. Bizarre landscapes with both joy and danger. A lot of the obstacles going from car to car is based on emotional logic, which is a struggle for Tulip, whose brain is wired to think scientifically as a coder. And that's kind of the eventual point of the show, watching her get in touch and work through her repressed emotions. As a coder and as a scientific thinker, she doesn't really think of that way. She doesn't understand why her parents would divorce, and sometimes blames herself. The train is helping her reconcile with those confusing, illogical emotions. Emotions is not logical. And this was such a thoroughly fun ride, balanced by some surprisingly mature themes, with only 10-minute episodes. It is a breeze to watch. 10-minute episodes. It's quick. You can just watch it at one go. Definitely one of 2019's best new cartoons, and probably the highest rated thing I will be talking about this month. It's a 9 out of 10.
Alright, brilliant.
Next up, talking about the third and final season of Legion. Legion Season 3 finally returns to form. While Season 1's unbridled creativity astounded, Season 2's abstract style frustrated. Season 3 reframes David as the true villain, which gives the show a momentum and a clarity it hasn't had in a while. Yes, Noah Hawley can't help but get super playful with the season's psychedelic journey through time and the astral plane, and he's very prone to unorthodox editing, musical interludes, structural playfulness, reality distorting visuals, and mesmerizing flourish in all surreal bouts of them. But the emotional through line of Sid's trauma from being raped in Season 2 / hero's journey and David's refusal to accept accountability / villain's journey offers a steady anchor amidst the acid trip and flights of fancy. Season 3 also introduces Professor X and David's mom, which is pivotal and satisfying and really illuminating with regards to David's genetic history of mental illness. Where does it come from? Does it come from genetics? Does it come from the Shadow King? It wouldn't be a surprise to say that maybe David was mentally ill before the Shadow King. Plus, I have to shout out Chapter 23, the Time Demon episode, which is possibly the best episode of Legion that Noah Hawley has ever done. He created these demons called Time Eaters that are truly unsettling. They come from the fourth dimension. These villains have like 2 large smiles and blurred out bodies and time glitchy movements. Are some of the creepiest innovations the show has ever concocted. Plus, the episode also featured a crossover with The Shield.
What?
On FX. You remember The Shield, the cop show?
Yeah.
So the TV show featured David going out of sync with time, jumping through and forth. And with the TV show, the network FX went back and forth in time. And in the middle of a scene, it just jumped to
Shield,
to one of the Shield's most iconic scenes from its pilot. You know, where he beat up the rapist with the phone book. I was like, oh shit, is this for real?
It's a time glitch.
It's a time glitch lah. And then he went back to the show.
Oh shit.
So I went online to make sure that it wasn't just like
FX fucked up.
Yeah, FX fucked up. It's like, no, how does that? Yeah, I intended to include that Shield.
Oh, that's quite cool actually.
It's wild and trippy, very fresh. Satisfying conclusion in my opinion. It doesn't quite reach the heights of Season 1, but this was well worth my time.
Better than Season 2.
Definitely, a lot, way better. Part of the season's beauty and strength lies in its return to the 8-episode format. Last season, the show ballooned to 11 episodes. Which left its creativity unfocused. Legion as a show is like David's Omega power levels. It has endless possibility and endless creativity, which can be awe-inspiring but also all-consuming. It needs to be focused, and the shorter season gave it the limiter it needed. At its best, Legion is audacious and creative and trippy, and all these bizarre musical numbers and rap battles and inventive imagery were all transcendent. At its worst, its visual flourish can't mask muddled storytelling.
Okay.
But right at the end, Legion's final season managed to infuse emotion and poignance into its imagination, making it beautiful and meaningful. So this is a 7.5 out of 10.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. Next up, I would like to talk about the horror comedy surprise of 2019 this summer. Much like Crawl, which we reviewed last month.
Oh, yes.
Ready or Not popped up out of nowhere to become like one of my low-key summer surprises.
Okay.
It's a wickedly funny and gruesomely gonzo horror comedy. It's kind of a pitch black satire that skewers the 1%ers.
Yeah, I mean, you showed me the trailer.
Alright, yeah. If you're unaware, it follows every woman Grace, who's played by Samara Weaving, who marries into an absurdly wealthy family. The bride's joy turns into terror on her wedding night when her blue blood in-laws attempt to murder her in a ritualistic game of hide and seek.
Yes.
You see the family's board game empire. They're a board game empire. Was founded by their great-grandfather who made a deal with Satan.
Oh, okay. That makes so much sense.
This ritual is the one thing they must do to retain their wealth. They don't do it often.
Okay.
It's a gamble when they have to do it. It just so happens that Grace is the unfortunate one time in her lifetime. So the story is about out-of-touch aristocrats hunting humans. Not exactly new, but this one comes with a subversive twist, taking aim at obscene privilege, bigotry, and horror of institutions.
Okay.
Set in a great big mansion, lots of dark corridors,
a lot of hiding places. Yeah.
Ready or Not is basically follows Grace as she hides from her in-laws who are wielding weapons like crossbows and axes. They can't use modern weaponry because they have to maintain weapons from when the deal was made.
Okay, so medieval weapons lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're all rich and spoiled, and they are not good at using these weapons. They're super incompetent with it.
Oh, this brilliant.
That adds the layer of comedy to it lah. There's a running joke where they keep accidentally murdering the servants.
Oh no.
That's at first it's very horrifying. A maid walks in and she gets shot with a crossbow, thinking that it's Grace lah.
Yeah.
It's really gruesome, but it keeps happening over and over again.
I thought it's funny.
And it gets funnier as it goes along because they keep getting killed in more and more over the top ways. There's also an aunt played by Melanie Scrofano who plays Winona Earp, a show I really like. Who is a drug addict. And every scene she's in, she barely has lines, but every scene she's in, right, she's either snorting something, injecting something, or popping pills, and she's only ever in the background, like a Wes Waldo character.
Okay.
And like the moment you notice her, right, you start looking for her in every scene, like taking drugs. Like she's almost a non-factor in the actual narrative, but you just see her oh shit, she's taking cocaine there. Oh shit, that's her doing heroin. It's hilarious. It's also full of taut thrills, a lot of bloody sequences, big laughs. Ready or Not mixes scares and comedy to deliver a blood-soaked crowd pleaser. A lot of the commentary is unsubtle, I have to say.
Okay.
But there are parts of a lot of parts of it, not as clever as the filmmakers think it is.
Okay.
So the key here is for its lead actress Samara Weaving, our protagonist scream queen, to hold it together. And yeah, my gosh, she is a star with a capital S. This girl is revelation. Where did she come from? Because I have not heard of her before this movie.
Neither have I.
She is effortlessly charming, proactive heroine, resilient, funny, very easy to root for. And whether she's delivering fear, sadness, or punchlines, she nails it every time. This movie wouldn't be half as good without her.
Okay.
She reminds me a lot of Jessica Roth from the Happy Death Day franchise, and that's a huge compliment. So keep the name Samara Weaving in your minds, folks. I think she's going to be a really, really big star.
Another this generation scream queen.
Yeah, alongside like Jessica Roth.
Okay.
I think those two are unreal.
They should do a movie together.
Yeah. Ready or Not isn't a great movie.
Okay.
It's a great time.
Okay.
It's a 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Alright.
Yeah.
One of the movies we're reviewing later will be like that too.
Right. Not a great movie, but a great time. Next up, I'm going to be talking about Peter Strickland's latest film called In Fabric. It's exceedingly bizarre. It's a story about a cursed red dress and the terrible fates that befall the people who wear them.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, this is probably the strangest film I've seen in the 2000s. Like in this fucking century,
Okay.
And one of the most original. It's very lurid, it's sumptuous, and entirely uncategorizable. In Fabric combines Italian giallo horror, like the old Suspiria, with some very British deadpan comedy, like from Extras, to create this ravishing dream logic kaleidoscope that is funny and scary.
Okay.
It's disorientingly experimental, very fetishistic, sensually. and it's playful in its commentary about consumerism, about why people must buy things.
Okay.
And it makes for a very willfully weird but a very intoxicating experience, a bit like the first half of Mandy. There is a strange department store run by witches who all speak in like almost 18th century English, but are weirdly up with buzzwords and consumerist things. Okay. So they fold together into like this bizarre vocabulary that is like you had influencer but also an 18th century witch,
like a Salem witch.
Yeah, but also like a modern influencer,
but also like
and trying to sell you dresses. It's weird.
Like hashtags and all.
Yeah. and like and also there's the absurd mundanities of each victim's inner life. So one of the victim is a washing machine repairman. And the movie spends like half an hour showing him going around houses fixing washing machines.
Okay.
And he has this weird superpower where like he's able to entrance women by talking about the logistics of washing machines, about like the dryer and the buckle and like the pivot and the rivet or whatever. And then they're all entranced and like super attracted to him.
I guess that kind of makes sense though.
It's weird. No, he's fucking ugly by the way.
I know,
but he just talks in a very dead-eyed voice, and he looks into the distance, and suddenly everybody is like entranced. Even the witches are when he talks about washing machines. It's probably a tad overlong and probably a bit too avant-garde, and sometimes feels indulgent, but it's oddball humor, the fetishistic sensuality of it, and striking imagery is quite mesmerizing. It works. It's a 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Now showing at the projector if you live in Singapore. Brought in by Anticipate Pictures, so do check it out. Only at the projector.
Okay.
Speaking of avant-garde things, legendary French auteur Claire Denis makes her English language debut with this chilly, ruminative and enigmatic space thriller titled High Life. It stars Robert Pattinson, aka the new Batman.
Yeah.
Structured elliptically, High Life jumps back and forth in time to follow a crew of death row inmates forced to serve out their sentence by carrying out science experiments aboard a vessel drifting out in deep space.
Makes sense.
These experiments range from harnessing the power of a black hole to carrying out fertility tests to see how deep space would affect pregnancy and the growth of a child.
Makes sense.
So all the men must offer sperm samples, while all the women on board are forcefully impregnated. After years and years of being cooped up in a sterile box, cabin fever, repressed urges and hopelessness starts to crumble the crew's psyche. And keep in mind, they are death row inmates, so they weren't stable to begin with.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where the drama sets, and that's where they start turning on each other. The film is beautiful. It's largely wordless, almost barren of dialogue, and often abstract. Gorgeously framed long wordless stretches convey stark loneliness and psychological degradation. It almost feels poetic. But like a lot of Denis's movies, they can also be extremely disturbing and brutal to watch. There are sudden bursts of violence and rape that are difficult. And there's a weird room called a fuck box where crewmates like unleash their carnal desires. That is very difficult to watch as well.
Okay.
The juxtaposition of sterility and bodily fluids like blood and semen everywhere is very well done, showing the messiness and tenderness of humanity that can pervade even in like vast, lifeless vacuums. At the center of it all is Robert Pattinson, who plays our lead character Monty. Pattinson is amazing. He is evocative and the thumping heart of what could have been a cult film. He is slowly coming into his own post-Twilight, and I think he is one of this generation's most interesting actors, thanks to brave choices like this. This movie is a 7 out of 10.
Ooh, not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
I mean, we always had one. Robert Pattinson has gotten a lot better since Twilight.
Yeah, man.
He's been in quite a few numbers where his acting chops are
soon to be seen in The Lighthouse, directed by Robert Eggers, the director and writer of The Witch.
It does sound like that, right?
With, who is fucking Green Goblin?
Oh, Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, yeah. Not Willem the Friend, Willem Dafoe.
Wow.
It's the meme, like.
I'm
sure you all have seen
it.
Yeah. Next up, I'm going to be talking about Rocko's Modern Life, Static Cling. This is Netflix's follow-up to a cult favorite Nickelodeon cartoon called Rocko's Modern Life.
Okay.
And it was low-key one of my most anticipated things this month because it has a nostalgia thing for me. But for those unfamiliar, the series centers on a surreal life of an anthropomorphic Australian immigrant wallaby.
I love that really.
Named Rocko, as well as his friends. It's set in the fictional town of Old Town, not to be confused with the boy band.
With the boy band, yeah.
Throughout its run, the show was controversial for its adult humor, including double entendres, innuendo, satirical social commentary. It's kind of similar to Ren and Stimpy.
Okay.
If you've seen it. In 2019, franchises coming back after decades is nothing new, right? What is new though is how each handles their return, and few are as clever as Rocko's Modern Life. Because this show went off air in 1996. And since then has been totally absent. not online, no comic books or anything.
Yeah.
So in Rocko's modern life static link, that absence is the driving force of the plot. Rocko and the gang have been stranded in space since 1996. And they come back to Earth in 2019.
Okay.
To a world that is very different from the one that they left.
Yeah.
So the idea of Rocko's modern life acting as a commentary on the ways technology and political correctness have blossomed in recent history is a smart one. Young kids will surely enjoy the film on surface level, but what makes this update of Rocko special is that kids like me, who grew up and with it, get something out of it too, because it offers perspectives on all the crazy ways the world has changed, for better and for worse, since we last watched the show. While the return is smart, it's sometimes clumsy in its execution, but I found myself smiling through most of it, so it's a 7 out of 10.
Not bad.
Speaking of Netflix reviving decades-old classic Nickelodeon cartoons specifically,
Oh yeah.
they also brought back Invader Zim for a new animated feature called Enter the Florpus. And I'm glad to say that creator, I'm going to butcher his name, Jonan Vasquez,
Okay, not bad.
Jhonen. I wanted to buy a vowel between a J and a H, sorry, Jonan. Has perfectly recaptured the show's original tone and aesthetic. When you think about Invader Zim, I don't know whether you guys have seen it.
Yes, we have. Back in the
It
day.
is the entire world is kind of like in this state of rot and decay that, like, people don't really bother anymore. Tonally, it's very grimy and dark and misanthropic. It's almost a precursor to Rick and Morty in terms of his willingness to hit you with like morbid sci-fi concepts. And Invader Zim Enter the Flopers is a darkly hilarious return to form, imbuing an all-new narrative with a surprising sense of emotional pathos. The character beats work best if you're a long-time fan of the show. But Enter the Flopers holds up as a standalone movie if you haven't even seen it.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know, because I've seen it, so I'm not the best judge, but I think it can hold up.
Alright, I'll take a gander at it.
It mixes a hilarious tone with genuine human emotion, but what's really interesting about Enter the Flopers is how the basic elements of the story read in 2019 as opposed to how they might have been when Invader Zim was originally airing.
In the early 2000s?
Correct, yeah. Invader Zim was a series about a paranoid fanatic named Dip who spends most of his hours lurking in the dark corners of the web, feeding his obsessive delusions about an imminent alien invasion.
Yep.
The joke was always that the invasion wasn't going to happen because Invader Zim is incompetent.
He is.
And the alien empire lacks interest in Earth at all.
Yeah.
This movie
It's like a backwater.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
So this movie turns Zim into a legitimate threat though. For once. Which gives Dip, the series' antagonist, mind you, a real reason to fight him. And it makes you question who you're rooting for and why. Especially when this movie dives into the insecurities and selfish motivations of both characters. Dip isn't doing this to save the world. He's doing it for selfish reasons, and so is Zim.
Yeah.
It's an interesting character study for a kiddie show. I really liked it. 7 out of 10.
Not bad.
Next up, I'll be talking about a Beatles-less alternate universe romantic comedy called Yesterday, directed by Danny Boyle. As I mentioned, it's set in a world where the Beatles don't exist.
Yeah, how did this go?
We follow Jack Malik, who's played by Hamish Pate,
Yes.
Pete, who is a struggling singer-songwriter.
Can we do a spoiler one for this?
Sure, you
I
can talk about it?
No, I want to know what happened. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay. So he's a struggling singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
One day after an accident, he wakes up magically in a world that doesn't remember the Beatles, but he does.
Yeah.
Hamish, whether out of sense of righteousness or selfishness, it's never really clear which one is which. Makes it his purpose to restore the classics to the world. Does he want to do it because he wants people to know the Beatles music, or does he want
he
it
wants
for
to be
fame?
famous.
Never quite clear.
Okay.
It's a killer premise that could explore art and inspiration and how both shape cultural context, right?
Yeah.
What would the music industry be today about the Beatles?
Very different.
If the Beatles released their seminal songs today, would it be favorably received considering that it was such a product of its time?
More or less, yeah. It was a product of its time, you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
It could also explore the idea of plagiarism and easy fame.
True.
It could also be a killer musical soundtrack by one of the greatest bands in the world, right?
Yes.
It does none of these things.
Oh, god damn it. I was so hopeful. I was like, yes.
These are all the things that it could do.
It did not?
It did not do.
So what did it do?
It's a romantic comedy about him trying to get a girl with Beatles music.
No.
And
It's such a good premise.
The dramatic crux is where did this girl fall in love with him?
Three
And it has
songs?
nothing to do with the Beatles or the music industry or how the Beatles got shaped or not shaped the world. Nothing about plagiarism, nothing about any of that.
Wow, that is disappointing.
Feels at every turn. It's so much wasted opportunity on the table, which is a shame. The idea was so solid.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
The trailer looks so promising.
Yep. So yeah, 3 out of 10.
Wow. I'm kind of glad I didn't watch it then.
Sorry, Danny Boyle. I think this is one of Danny Boyle's worst movies.
Weaker movies lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably worst lah. I don't
Worst,
think Danny
okay.
Boyle has ever done anything close to this bad.
Nah.
Like The Beach was meh, but not bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, yeah.
Alright.
They're pirates.
Speaking of weird and bad things, let's talk about Wu Assassins.
Wu Assassins.
This new Netflix original is about a man named Kaijin.
Yes.
Played by the Raid's Iko Uwais.
I love him, by the way.
Who is charged with a mystical mission to become the Wu Assassin and stop evil spirits who have partnered with evil men to do bad things.
There we go.
Being the Wu Assassin makes Kai stronger, faster, and more durable than the average person, but also means he periodically merges with a long-dead monk, played by Double Dragon's Mark the Koskos.
Again, a very good good stuntman also.
Great stuntman, right?
Both these guys.
So let's get this right out of the bat, right? Man, this is a goofy ass show.
It is so goofy. It is so stupid.
It's like 7 layers of cheese, topped with cliches and plot holes and stilted dialogues.
Bad acting.
Man, in terms of premise and execution, it reminds me a lot of Iron Fist Season 1.
Oh my god.
But with the big difference being that at least the action here is legitimately amazing.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's surprising how much you can forgive dramatic failings of an action show if it can succeed in its one key ingredient, which is the action, right?
Yes.
That's all I ever really want from an action show, and the fight scenes here are fantastic. So a lot of it can be forgiven.
I'll say,
but not quite.
Yeah. I'll say about 70% I can forgive lah.
It's not quite the Raid level good. If it was the Raid level good, it would. In terms of fighting, right? Then fuck it.
Because the Raid had no story.
The second one was mostly story though.
The first one, I mean.
Yeah. But it's still an impressive mix of choreography and grace and brutality, which I like from fighting shows lah.
Yeah.
It's just that everything else sucks. I mean, you guys saw Wu Assassin, or at least a bit
of it.
What do you think about it?
I think Hidzir and me, both of us agreed, right?
Yeah.
That the fighting was great, but the graphics,
the CGI was bad.
Yeah.
The acting was bad. The pacing was bad.
Yeah.
Like everything outside of the action itself. Like it's to the point whereby the fight scenes are beautifully shot, but everything else is not.
Yep.
How?
It's like they brought in a completely different like DOP to do the fight scenes.
Well, it's the second unit that does fight scenes. And
exactly. So the second unit
is amazing.
I'm quite sure it's like the top of the line kind of like big B unit that does this, right?
They're probably bench guys for John Wick and the Raid. But like they're A-level guys here.
Yeah. It's hilarious. There's so many hilarious lines. Like, okay, I'm so sorry. I love Evo. Okay.
Yeah.
I loved him in the Raid. I didn't love him in Star Wars. Do you know he was in Star Wars?
He was in 5 seconds.
Like 5 seconds. Like what? Okay, never mind. Anyway.
It was at the Conjure Club scene, right?
No, the ship. Han Solo.
Yeah.
Then
Conjure Club sent us.
Yeah. Correct. Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway.
I remember Star Wars. I'm a Star Trek guy, but I remember.
I know. But god damn it, man. That's it just annoyed.
To his lane.
Yeah. Just fight lah.
Yeah.
Just fight.
I mean, honestly,
which he did lah. He did.
All I needed, right, was a premise.
Yeah.
And lots of fighting.
You know, he could have been a silent protagonist.
Really? Yeah.
Honestly, you could just make him a silent protagonist.
Drive.
Thank you.
Exactly. There we go.
And it would be so much better. I mean, I don't hate the guy. I really like him. But god damn, man, that acting, like his lines were so bad.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I only made it to like 3.5 episodes.
Oh, I made it through one only.
Yeah, so like just from that alone, did you finish it?
No, I made it to 5 episodes.
Oh, not bad. You did the most among us.
Yeah. I'll rate it a 5 out of 10.
Really?
Because the action
saved it lah. Okay, yeah. Okay,
like,
I mean, it is an action series.
Like Fresh is 6 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to fail it either.
Okay.
So it's not a super rotten.
Because
the action is great.
I'll give the action about a 7.5 lah.
Yeah.
But because so it will round off about 5.
The show is a 3 out of 10. Action
Yeah,
is a 7.
yeah.
5.
So 5 lah. You're right.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
Fine.
Now, if we could just again, like as you pointed out, right? All we need is the B team to do Iron Fist, and we would still have Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But we have Shang-Chi now, so.
Yeah.
That's true.
Sneak attack.
Sneak attack.
Shout out to our Asian boy.
Yeah, man.
Next up, we'll be talking about the latest edition in the Fast and the Furious franchise. This one is Hard Corner. Quick Hard.
This is like one of the rare times, and I'm the only one that.
Where Hardy will talk about the Fast and Furious spin-off.
Yeah.
Hobbs and Shaw, a Fast and the Furious story.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's actually subtitled there.
Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
I did the Star Wars thing.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. So anyway, just so y'all know, I've been begging them. I've been saying that Hobbs and Shaw is a sci-fi show. And
it has a super soldier.
It has a super soldier with futuristic tech. And a glimpse of what would be a dystopian universe in the future. Right? So anyway, Hobbs and Shaw has one thing that is great: chemistry between The Rock and Jason Statham.
Great tag team.
Really great tag team. Great cameos. Spoiler alert. Fuck it, I'm going to spoil it. Ryan Reynolds making a really long cameos, like 15 minutes, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Because he had a mid credit and he had a whole chunk of dialogue throughout. Yeah, and also Kevin Hart. Yeah, Kevin Hart playing
surprising. It's unsurprising.
It's unsurprising because of his relationship with The Rock, lah.
Yeah.
But anyway, the movie itself is ridiculous. It's like Wu Assassins lah in the way that the story doesn't really matter anymore lah. It's very simple. There's a virus. It's a very Mission Impossible kind of thing. There's a virus. We need to stop the virus from spreading. Yeah, and then this super soldier is trying to reclaim the virus.
Right.
Yeah, the virus is in a woman, played by my favorite Crown actress,
Vanessa Kirby.
Vanessa
also
Kirby.
in Mission Impossible, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I love that kind of little things.
I do say though, I saw the BTS with Vanessa Kirby's fight scenes, and they look really good.
They were.
Yeah, because like a lot of girls don't get fight scenes in Fast and Furious. But she did.
I mean, I think Michelle Rodriguez
barely
had one with Ronda Rousey, remember?
Right, yeah.
In the hotel. Yeah, that's about it that I can remember. Apart from that, not much. It's very clear that this is like the Vin Diesel's ugly stepchild of the Fast and Furious.
Well, they have problems, right?
Yeah, they can't work together lah.
Yeah.
They had to film like separately lah. Yeah, it's damn weird logistics because they also have a clause in their contracts where they cannot lose fights, which makes it hard to choreograph things for.
I mean, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, late 90s WCW.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so no one
no one will know, but if you watch wrestling, you know.
But if you're okay, you only watch this movie if you are the fan of The Rock
or Jason Statham.
If you're a Fast and Furious fan, you can kind of miss this also.
It's the solo of Fast and Furious.
Yeah, you don't really need to catch this.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of The Rock like I am, then you can catch this.
So how as a movie though? I mean,
as a movie, it is actually fun. Right? It delivers on what it promises. Big action sequences, Rock saying cool things, and Jason Statham being witty. I mean, for Jason Statham standards lah. Yeah, with his one-liners and his rejoinders to The Rock lah. So it's cool lah. I will actually rate this about a 6.5 lah out of 10 lah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's a fun time, but it's really no consequence to the Fast and Furious series at all. So I guess I understand why Tyrese Gibson was pissed off with The Rock lah. Yeah, they could really have not made this movie. I'll be fine.
So this was the 10th edition of a street racing franchise.
It's no longer a street racing. There is no more street racing. What is street racing in Fast and Furious? No more.
I think they dropped it about Fast 5.
But really on the trajectory that Hobbs and Shaw is going, right? The next episode is a dystopian universe because there's
but even in the trajectory of the Fast and Furious movies, because they are fighting super spies. They're driving Lamborghinis from plane to plane.
Exactly.
They're drop kicking torpedoes.
Yeah, and they're fighting like this elite underground organization with unlimited resources and
these
all that.
These are streetcar races, you know.
Not anymore, man.
Like your average beat cop is in charge of taking
last
them.
Last time. When Paul Walker was on.
They couldn't even escape the average beat cop, you know.
They could.
But look how far they've come.
Yeah. Last time was just like city detectives, you know, on the case.
Or at least detectives are.
Yeah, city detectives are, right?
Yeah.
Like who does like Grand Theft Auto and that sort of thing. And now it's like not even the CIA, okay? Their missions are so secret, right?
CIA don't know about them.
The CIA doesn't
Classified.
know. Yeah, they are being led by the guy called Mr. Nobody.
Yeah, from
Doom
Patrol, right?
Oh yeah. Oh shit, yeah.
What if Mr. Nobody exists between universes?
Yeah, but I tell you, okay, right now the next thing that they're going to do is dystopian universe.
No. Well, let's take a minute to talk about like how we would write this.
Oh yeah, let's do this.
Because this is incredible.
This is great.
The next one needs to be space.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
They need to fight aliens in space.
Yes.
The logical conclusion to this franchise is the time travel thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Days of Furious Fast, right?
I love that name so much.
Which is a title I came up with during a house party.
Eating prata.
Days of Furious Fast, amazing. What they need to do is an endgame Back to the Future type of thing.
Correct.
Where they go back to scenes of various movies.
I want to see Hobbs and Shaw face off against Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool too.
Yeah. Well, that one is the next one when
Next
we hop multiverses.
Yeah.
But for now, we'll do the time travel.
Yes.
They go back to specifically the turning point is when the Asian dude dies.
Yes, in
What's
Tokyo
his name?
Drift.
What's his name?
I can't remember his name.
When the Asian dude dies in Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, in Tokyo Drift.
Killed by Jason Statham, who is
Correct.
now a hero.
Yes, exactly.
So my pitch is that Jason Statham wants to go back in time.
Yes.
They can't encounter this technology somehow lah.
I mean, there's futuristic technology already.
Correct.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the organization is from the future.
Maybe.
So they have like that tech already, right?
Exactly.
So he takes it. He goes back in time because he doesn't want to kill this guy. He feels bad about it.
Correct.
Poor Asian guy.
Yes.
He saves he fights himself to save the Asian guy.
So that the family will be, because the Fast and Furious series is all about family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now the family is back together.
But because the Asian guy is alive, he goes back to the future, and it's a dystopian future.
Why?
Why? Because if the guy is alive, right?
Exactly.
They will still be doing heists. They wouldn't be saving the world.
Yes.
All the threats from 7, 8, and Hobbs and Shaw
Yes.
would not be addressed.
Yeah.
And the world will be in chaos. There'll be robots.
The world won't be safe.
There'll be super soldiers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
So he has to go back in time to fight himself, who's trying to fight himself.
exactly. Right.
So he has to stop himself from stopping himself.
How great is that movie?
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Because of that, he creates parallel timelines.
Yes.
Which is where we can delve into multiverses. You know, they can now interact with like Aquaman or Bad Boys
exactly.
or whatever.
Right, with James Wan on the helm.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
So this is the thing. Right now, Fast and Furious, Vin Diesel, if you're listening, this is what you need to do.
Like, please send us your email.
We will
I
email
really
you the
would like
details.
to write out like a 3-page draft for you,
Yeah.
like a pitch.
Don't worry, this will sell a lot in China.
It will.
Yeah, we'll do very well in China.
At the very least, I'll buy tickets.
So anyway, Hobbs and Shaw was a great movie. Go and watch it.
I won't pirate it.
If you got nothing better to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Back to our regular scheduled programming.
I would like to, before we delve into D23 and Sony and Disney and all that, let's go through quickly what I like to call the pull list, which is what I recommend reading material. Firstly, I would like to talk about a series that just ended called Paper Goals. It's by Brian K. Vaughan, who is probably my favorite comic book writer of this generation at this moment.
Wow.
He wrote Why the Last Man, Ex Machina, Runaways, Saga. All are masterpieces. And while Saga continues to be the darling of the comics industry, as it should be, it's great. His other ongoing series, Paper Girls, is just as amazing, I feel.
What's it about?
It flies under the shadow of Saga, but I don't think it should. It just recently ended with issue 30 last month. And now that its run is complete, I'm going to go out on a limb and I say that it's the most satisfying Brian K. Vaughan comic book, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because I felt slightly let down by the endings of Ex Machina and Why the Last Man.
Okay.
Slightly.
Okay.
Great books overall.
Yeah.
Slightly let down by the ending.
Okay.
Saga hasn't reached its ending, so I don't know.
So you don't know lah.
But I think as a complete story, Paper Girls is the best Brian K. Vaughan has ever done. He never finished Runaways. He left after issue 12, things like that lah. So Paper Girls follows the story of 4 newspaper delivery girls in the 1980s. On one fateful early morning route, they become accidentally embroiled in a temporal war between 2 time-traveling factions. One side is called the Old Timers, responsible adults from the future who are dedicated to preserving the organic time stream.
Okay.
They believe that time travel should not be toyed with.
Okay.
The other side are the rebels, teenagers from an even further future, who believe that each generation should be allowed to fix the previous generation's mistakes using time travel.
Okay.
Like each generation should be allowed to create their own ideal scenario.
Kind of each have their own moral.
Correct lah. And
Yeah.
if the following generation doesn't agree, go fix it lah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Now, because it was originally set in the 1980s, right, and features kids on bikes who go on a sci-fi adventure, it was compared to Stranger Things. And that's super unfair because the 80s setting was just the first issue. Before they go on hundreds of different time zones lah. Timelines.
Yeah.
Time zones like they go to Australia.
Like GMT plus 8.
Daylight savings. There's the nostalgia that comes with it, but it's only the first arc. The rest of the series finds them hundreds of thousands of years in the past during prehistoric times, hundreds of thousands of years in the future, and hundreds and thousands of years further into the future where the teenagers are from. And then there's some stops in the 1950s, the year 2000, and the year 2016. First of all, the book and Chiang's artwork doesn't shy away from very huge, very weird, epic things. There are like techno knights riding dinosaurs.
Oh, I love that.
There are invisible mechas. There are kaijus from the 4th dimension.
Wait, how did he draw invisible what? Invisible what?
Like one of the kids has the ability to see them. But the rest cannot see lah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I wouldn't spoil what happens to the child, but like she gains some powers that allows her to see through the fourth dimension.
Cool.
In terms of the time travel, Vaughan keeps it very tightly plotted, introducing clever paradoxes and neat time loops that are not just mind-bending, they're also ironic and tragic and bear a great emotional resonance and significance. Beyond the wild action, the emotional core keeps you engaged. The story is really about dashed hopes and disappointing futures. The contrast between the kids and their dreams of growing up what they want to be, and the disappointing reality of seeing their adults' lives is always awkward and moving and bittersweet. They must come to grips with not only what they become, but who they are right now and whether they could or should change any of it.
Moral quandary.
Yeah, exactly, right? The mystery box nature of the book is well crafted, but it's the journeys of these girls that makes it great. Its most powerful moments come from the realization that just because the future doesn't fit their ideals, that doesn't mean that their experiences don't matter.
Okay.
In the climax, the girls are faced with a solution to the time travel war.
Yes.
They can fix it all. But it would mean resetting to the day that they met, ensuring that they would never become friends.
Yeah.
With the fate of the world and the time stream and entire generations and trillions of lives at stake, the cost of their friendship seems small, but it doesn't feel small, you see.
Yeah.
The series does such a great job of investing you in their friendship and their growth and their journey of self-acceptance and their self-discovery through their relationships with one another. To see it all wiped away, it's very heartbreaking and almost makes you feel like, fuck the future. Like, let these kids be friends,
Yeah.
Also, I recommend that you read... Okay, don't buy the trade paperbacks, buy the single issues.
Okay.
I recommend that you read the letters section after each issue because it's filled with stories and anecdotes from former paper boys and paper girls.
Oh, wow.
And it's really cool. They encourage former paper boys and paper girls to write about their experiences. And it created this weird community in the letters section where they started their own club, they made their own cards that they give each other, and now they're all part of like a former paper boys or paper girls community.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's almost like I enjoy the letter section a bit more because it's like real.
These are real letters.
Yeah, real
right?
people. Yeah, who wrote in. Right.
Okay.
It's cool.
Feels very old school comic books.
Correct. Yeah. And it's all about the newsletter is run by someone from the 80s, so it's all about prints, keeping print alive, etc.
Okay.
So if you're looking for something to read in between Saga's painfully long hiatus,
how long has it been?
This has been a year now.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's this is a 9.5 out of 10 for me.
Whoa.
It's an almost perfect story.
Okay. Cool.
Next up, I would like to talk about a new comic from Brubaker, who is a very famous comic book writer. If you've ever read Gotham Central, Catwoman, Daredevil, Captain America, he won an Eisner Award for his run during the famous the Death of Captain America arc.
Ooh, that was a good arc though.
Was him. The Winter Soldier arc was him.
Ooh, that was another
The
good
movie
arc.
Winter Soldier is based on his run,
Yeah.
He's also done some amazing indie comics like Criminal, etc. This guy has always been one of my faves, and his latest comic book is called Bad Weekend. Predictably excellent. Bad Weekend looks at the seedy underbelly of the comic book industry and the sad fates of comic book creators and superhero creators.
Okay.
So this book reflects on real life where the labor on most big name superhero properties gets done on work for hire terms, right?
Yeah.
With the lion's share of the profits going to the corporation that owns the trademarks, and the creators are often unsung. They rarely get adequate financial compensation for creating multi-billion-dollar properties.
Yeah.
You hear all these stories about people
All the time.
Crowdfunding for surgeries and things like that.
Yeah.
People created like Deadpool. People created like major comic properties, right? So the story concerns Hal Crane, the main character of Bad Weekend. He's a former comic book creator, hasn't retired gracefully at all.
Oh no.
He's a grumpy old man who has very uncool interactions with cosplayers and fans.
Oh no.
In this graphic novel, Hal reunites with his old assistant Jacob, who reluctantly agrees to chaperone him around a late 1990s Comic Con. The tension between Jacob and Hal is very good. Dialogue-wise, it simmers and it tells you a lot while actually telling very little.
Okay.
But you get the gist of why they hate each other or why they feel resentful towards each other. And it revolves around Hal's quest to get some payback for stolen art, wounded pride at a convention where he's just supposed to be getting a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Okay.
Being an industry vet, Brubaker has very keen insight into the situation and the characters he populates Bad Weekend with. So it's very realistic depictions about the indignities faced by comic book creators and the shadiness of the corporate machinery that screwed them up.
Okay.
Yeah. very good story, 7.5 out of 10. That being said, we will be talking about some very major big comic book corporations later.
Exactly.
Because we are sucked into it anyway.
Yeah.
Finally, I would like to talk about a short story collection called Someone Who Will Love You in All Your Damaged Glory. It's written by BoJack Horseman creator Raphael Bob Waxberg. This short story collection channels much of the same caustic humor and heart-rending dialogue as the Netflix series. The stories alternate between surreal, sci-fi inspired tales and more grounded vignettes, but many are a poignant mixture of both. There are 18 stories of varying lengths. Damaged Glory is deftly and confidently written, full of experimental fun. The first story, Salted Circus Cashews, swear to God, is about a nameless couple who finished a date and gone to his house. It's very short, but the way it builds tension is beautiful, and its use of font is crucial to the story. Font gets bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller.
Okay.
Its text starts to get bigger or smaller and smaller. By the end, it's as minuscule as the ingredients on food packaging. So you have to really squint at it. When you understand how it relates to the story's themes, you'll see how clever it is.
Okay.
This brief 2-page opener perfectly sets the tone for the collection, as the story, which seems at first like it's about nothing, becomes intense and anxious. An internal monologue about the perils of trust. Trying to not spoil it, but trying to give the gist of it. Many of the stories have the same formal or fantastical gimmick, including one about superheroes whose powers only work when they're drunk, and another about a couple planning a small non-religious wedding who get pressured by friends and family into hosting. Oh my god! Okay, so they have friends and family from alternate universes, and they're forced to do a wedding with alternate universe traditions. It's funny and weird, and more about how you're beholden to tradition than it's about alternate universes. There is one story called Rufus that's entirely told from the point of view of a lovable dog. No, it's not Mr. Peanut Butter. While no two stories here feel similar, there are themes that seem to preoccupy Bob Waxberg, mostly involving emotional vulnerability, the ways in which humans shut themselves off from one another, and that deeply terrifying thing, love, whether romantic or platonic or familial, which is kind of a theme that he does with BoJack Horseman quite a bit. It seems the one thing that he's very obsessed with. Damaged Glory owes a big debt to postmodern irony that permeated like experimental literature for a time, and thankfully it doesn't dwell in cynicism, because it's actually quite hopeful, which is surprising. It manages to balance ironic humor with a deep sincerity that is surprising and delightful. So I liked it. It's 8 out of 10.
Another good one.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about.
Well, actually, pull list, right? So it's everything that you like.
That's true. Yeah. Recommendations. Yeah. Next up, before we get into D23, right? Let's talk about the Marvel Sony divorce.
Well,
despite having, if you don't know, background. Despite having appeared in some of the most recent MCU titles, Sony and Disney are disputing over producer credits and character licenses that will leave Spider-Man out of the MCU family and Kevin Feige's creative control indefinitely.
Exactly.
Despite Spider-Man Far From Home and the Avengers Endgame being huge box office champions for both parties, right? The future looks very grim for Spider-Man. According to Deadline, this dispute is actually it's between Sony and Disney, not Sony and Marvel.
This parent company.
Correct. Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige enjoys a good friendship with Sony chief Amy Pascal.
Yes.
They're good friends. The story is about Disney squabbling for more money. And Sony, rightfully or not rightfully, depending on your point of view, wanting to retain as much control as possible. But it's actually the deal is that Disney wants money and a lot more money. So what happened is Disney asked future Spider-Man films to be a 50-50 co-financing agreement between the studios. And that's where the discussion ended, because their current agreement is 5%.
Yep. 5 to 95.
5 to 50.
5 to 50.
So it's a 10 times increase. You don't ask for a raise like that, lah. People are going to balk.
I mean, it might be a negotiating tactic.
Of course. You go for the high ballpark first, and then but it's negotiating done in public, and it's getting very ugly because when you get fanboys involved, you get death threats, you get picketing, you get protests,
DOS
and
attacks,
pickets,
and all that.
Shit like that, right? So I feel Disney is in the wrong here.
In a little way, because they are not the underdog.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct. So I have 3 questions I want to ask you. Whose side are you on? Number 1, what does the future life of Spider-Man live action films, considering so much of its foundation lies in the MCU? Finally, do you foresee this dispute being settled?
Oh no. Honestly, I think for everyone's sake, right? I mean, Disney, Sony, and the fans. I feel that they will settle it eventually. Right? There's no way that they will let something this freaking good go to waste. I mean, Sony, come on. Let's look at your track record lah.
Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse though.
I mean, yeah lah, but that's 1 in 6. 1 in 6 correct.
Spider-Man 2 was great.
Spider-Man 2 was great.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 1 was alright. Yeah. Spider-Man 3 was weird. Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 was that happened.
Yeah.
Venom.
Yeah.
That happened too.
Venom made a lot of money though.
It did. Yeah. Yeah, but I have no idea why also. It made more money than Justice League, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Everything made more money than Justice League.
Justice League, Shazam combined.
Cannot beat Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I feel that Sony kind of have a little bit more moral high ground in this argument.
I want to see I love MCU lah. Don't get me wrong. I love Spider-Man and MCU lah.
Yeah.
But to imagine a world where Marvel owns everything is very sad. Or not Marvel, Disney owns everything is very sad because great content comes from diverse points of view.
Yes. And competition.
As great as MCU is, right, it's kind of a fairly homogeneous thing.
Yeah.
MCU would never do Legion. Never. Nope. MCU would never do Logan.
No. Because of who their parent company is.
Right.
It's Disney.
Yeah.
Regardless of what, you're not going to get an R-rated kind of movie.
I know. So I have to put up with the Dark Phoenixes once upon a time or to get Logan lah.
Yeah,
twice lah. twice in my lifetime.
Yeah, we did Dark Phoenix twice. Just saying.
Okay. So I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. How about you, Isa? Anything?
I mean, in this particular case, I think it was a matter of time before it fell apart, right? Just given how our Tom Holland version of Spider-Man has done so well.
It did.
Over the course of the 2 Spider-Man movies.
And the Avengers.
And the Avengers movies.
Civil War as well.
And for Civil War. Like, it was a matter of time before Disney wanted a bigger piece of the pie. I do feel like this is ill-timed. I do feel like maybe the third movie should have been the point in which you start negotiating. And therefore, you would have... you give the fans what they want. And after 3 movies, which was the agreed-upon deal, right?
Yeah.
Right? Then you can take it
renegotiate again
because there's a chance that the third Spider-Man movie will definitely surpass.
I mean, definitely they can even negotiate for a higher price. 20%, 30%,
15 something lah. But like to jump from 5 to 50 is a bit ridiculous lah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know, and I understand that Sony is coming off of a high, right, with Spider-Verse. And now there are more Spider-Verse movies down the line, but like it does feel very sad. I do feel like we have hit a sweet point as far as Peter Parker goes with Tom Holland, but I don't know. I think everybody loses from this for sure. And as much as Sony would want to try to do their own thing, we can say bye to Tom Holland. That's for sure.
For now,
for now.
They could continue doing Spider-Man movies, just not related to the MCU.
Yeah, which is kind of sad.
I mean, like still starring Tom Holland, but don't reference anything from
I don't think Tom Holland is
tied
specifically to the MCU. Right?
No, Tom Holland is under Sony contract.
Sony, right? Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we might still see him.
He's the only guy from Sony. The rest are all Disney guys.
Yeah.
I am not so hopeful that they will be able to arbitrate this.
Yeah. But don't you kind of want to see Tom Holland and Tom Hardy in the same film? Okay, fuck. That's just me.
My bet is that Disney is going to greenlight Miles.
Sure, but Disney doesn't own Miles either.
Yeah.
Miles is still considered Spider-Man property.
Yeah, because that's how they got to do Enter the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, no. And Spider-Gwen, anything Spider lah. Spider in front is Sony.
And by extension, Vulture, Carnage, all the villains, Anme.
Yeah. Aw, so sad. Thank God Tony's dead.
So I do see where Disney is coming from because Kevin Feige has been doing a lot of the back end work creatively.
Yeah.
I do see where Sony is coming from because Marvel has not put a dime into any of the Spider-Man movies because all the production is financed by Sony. So why should 50% of profits go to Marvel? But I also think that Marvel deserves a bit more than 5%.
Yeah. I mean, the 5% is pure profit lah.
Yeah. And they get all merchandising rights.
Exactly.
Including toys and stuff like that.
Mad, right?
Yeah. So figure it out lah. 10%, 15% or whatever.
You're like huge corporations. This is not going to destroy your bottom line.
So okay, that's the thing. I think if it goes 50-50, to Disney,
Sony
it will destroy
Sony. For Sony. And
Sony has one money-making franchise. This is it.
Yeah.
They have nothing else. Sony Pictures, I don't want Sony Pictures to go the way of Fox.
No, don't.
Yeah.
We need someone who competes.
Yeah. Like once in a while, I want someone to like punch Disney in the nose a bit.
A bit.
Which they did with Spider-Verse.
Yeah, correct.
That's why it's so disappointing when things like, the DCEU, right? Just craps everywhere.
That one's your own problem.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. They can't get out their way themselves.
Exactly.
So the question is, can Disney buy Sony?
Sure, of course. Disney can buy
want
everyone. The only thing Disney can't buy is Amazon because Amazon is richer.
It's bigger than them.
Yeah. But there will be a Disney Amazon conglomerate in the future.
Yeah, it's quite scary.
They will overload us from space.
It is quite scary, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't know, it's sad lah. It's that I want Spider-Man back in the MCU, but I also want an equitable, reasonable solution for both of them.
Right now, it just feels irresponsible and just one-sided.
The only thing that is everyone can agree of is that creatively this is the worst decision lah.
Yes.
Yeah, but financially there's a lot of ways to look at it.
Yeah.
So I mean, Sony needs Spider-Man. Really needs Spider-Man and all the ancillary properties.
What other things do Sony have? I really don't know. No?
Nothing.
Right?
They really don't have anything that's making a profit.
Yeah,
they have a lot of things, but they're not making a profit at the moment. So Spider-Man, they need it. If not, they're gonna go under. Okay. I firmly believe that if they lose 50% of their profits from Spider-Man, they are done, man.
Because Spider-Man made $1 billion plus, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Which Marvel only got 5% from. That's where they were like, oh, maybe we should get more. Right.
Then like take up the production cost also lah.
Correct. Yeah. So that was my solution for it anyway lah. But Sony unquestionably needs Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Disney does not need Spider-Man.
Nope.
Which leads me into D23, which shows off all the properties that they have.
Yeah.
So many.
If you thought like Comics-Con had a lot of things that Marvel did.
Yep.
So many. So let's talk about it one by one. First of all,
sure.
New show announcements.
Yes.
In terms of Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
A live action Kamala Khan show. We also have a live action Moon Knight show.
Which is going to be fun.
Yeah. She-Hulk.
Which is going to be about law.
Ellie McBeal law drama with superheroes.
Legal drama.
Yeah, and I think
not like the Matt Murdock kind.
Right. Yeah, where he treats lawyering like a hobby. Doesn't show up to court. Doesn't even show up to the office half the time.
Forgot he had a job.
Like Foggy Nelson is just there, like carrying all the weight. And it's what's supposed to be a partnership.
Exactly.
She-Hulk is a real lawyer.
Yes.
With real cases.
Yes.
Tackling superhuman law specifically. I think it'll be interesting.
I really want to see that. Yeah.
I think all the stuff they talked about with WandaVision sounds really cool also.
Yeah.
Yes, I like the new cast that they've added.
Yeah.
Darcy is coming back from Thor 2, Kat Dennings. The Asian FBI agent from Ant-Man 2. Whoever, Randall Park, is coming back. Don't know why. But
why not? Randall Park's big shit now, man.
He is big shit. I do have to say. Sharon Carter will be back in Falcon and Winter Soldier as well. That one makes a bit more sense.
Okay.
But WandaVision is the one I'm most interested in because it feels the footage description describes it as like half Dick Van Dyke show from the 50s with like campy laugh track and everything. Nuclear family kind of stuff. Which obviously kind of draws upon Tom King's vision as well.
Yeah.
And half superhero spectacle, multiverse Legion trippiness kind of thing. Yeah, so this feels interesting.
Yeah.
Will we see Viv?
I mean, maybe.
Nuclear family, what?
Yeah. Viv and the mom, I can't remember their names really.
I mean, in this case,
starts
Wanda
with V,
will be
right?
the mom.
Oh yeah, Wanda will be the mom.
Yeah, because it's not Vision that's creating.
Yeah, it's Wanda.
I wouldn't mind seeing Viv and then pushing her off to Hulu to be in Runaways.
Yeah, that would be fascinating.
Because I mean, she's a member of Runaways as well.
Eventually,
right?
Yeah.
Because I
now she's a member of Champions, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But it'll be a while before they.
Yeah, that's why.
Young Avengers also.
Young Avengers also.
Because she's an incredibly popular character, surprisingly.
After
Tom King's run.
Yes.
I didn't think that she would survive that long.
Viv actually originated from Runaways, and then Tom King made her famous.
Yeah.
Lots of other stuff as well. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is getting a Disney Channel animated show.
I am so happy.
Excited.
It's such a fun comic book.
Kit Harington has joined the MCU in the Eternals.
Let's go.
I wonder who will play.
One of the Eternals?
A lot of people were speculating. This is a bit mean lah. A lot of people were speculating before the Eternals thing.
Yeah.
A bit mean that he was going to be Wolverine because of his height.
Oh no.
I mean, clearly not lah. But people were just like short. Black Panther's coming back in 2022, 3 years from now. That's a long time, bro.
Black Panther 2.
But I mean, 3 years is a long time. But think of all the things that they have in between, lah.
Yeah. We got time.
So, like, of all the D23 MCU news, what has you the most excited?
MCU?
Yeah.
Ooh, MCU would be things like what I talked about already, lah.
Okay.
WandaVision is really exciting for me. But I feel I like all the little like Randall Park coming back.
Alright,
you know, all these little like
meow meow.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, lah. Phase 4 and 5, lah. Should be fun.
What about you, Isa? I feel like Moon Knight might be like up your alley.
Yeah, I fucking love Moon Knight. I'm very, very curious as to how they're gonna go about it. I would love for it to be was it Bendis that did the mental health arc?
Moon Knight,
Yeah, so I would be super interested if they did a series about Moon Knight and his mental health struggles.
Bendis does all the street level stuff.
Moon Knight is also a rich guy, right?
No.
Sort of.
Well,
one of his personalities is a rich guy.
It's a rich guy, right?
So
a Bruce Wayne type.
A Bruce Wayne type.
Yeah, I'm super interested to see who's going to be attached to that project, right? Like, I feel that opens up.
Yeah, with the Egyptian mythos and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if Hawley is free, you know, like...
Let's go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, right?
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense for Hawley to do Bendis' arc.
Right.
For Moon Knight. And I would love to see that. I'm excited to see who's going to do it.
Actually, Hawley WandaVision will be great too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Kamala Khan, I'm also looking forward to that, lah.
That one more because it's social political context.
I mean, Miss Marvel comics has been great, lah.
Great, yeah. G. Willow Wilson is a Muslim woman who can identify with this lead character in a very, very real way, like how she copes with a conservative Pakistani family and her more modern millennial anxieties, and also superheroics on the side, things like that. Like, it's very relevant today. It almost feels like it could be like a superhero Rami if you've ever seen a Hulu show.
Oh no! Wow, you're right. Superhero Rami.
Right. Yeah. I think casting will be key as well for that one.
Yeah.
Because she might actually fill the Peter Parker hole in MCU.
Oh no, you're right.
As the teen hero.
Yeah,
that's relatable. I mean, she was written as the new Peter Parker anyway, lah.
Yeah.
Finally, what I'm most excited by, actually, right?
Yes.
Despite all that, is the What If series, the animated one.
Oh yeah, I saw that one also.
So there is imagery of Steve Rogers manning some kind of old school Mark 1 Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
There is imagery of Peggy Carter as Captain Britain.
Yes.
Like there is an image of Winter Soldier fighting Captain America zombie. So I think it's Marvel zombies.
Why not?
They might do, yeah. Like, what if like Thanos snaps his fingers and they're all zombies? Something like.
Snaps his finger, they're all apes.
Yeah.
Marvel apes. Remember that?
Apes. Yeah. So as a half-hour animated show, I think you can do a lot.
Yeah. And now that they're back with Fox is under the banner, you know, you can put in your Wolverines and your X-Men characters into the mix also.
I mean, like, how many great what ifs have we
so
gotten
many.
from Wolverine?
Yeah.
Wolverine kills the Marvel universe.
Oh, indeed, man.
Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, let's talk about Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Controversial statement.
Go ahead.
When was the last time you were legitimately excited watching a Star Wars trailer?
Force Awakens.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Years, right?
Years ago, Force Awakens.
The Mandalorian made me a Star Wars fan again.
Right. Right.
Like, I was all like, oh, I'm in the midst of a huge Star Trek binge, but like the Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
It blew my mind, like that.
Can
trailer.
I say that? I know this sounds like I'm contradicting myself because I said that Disney will never do something R-rated, right?
Yeah.
But you know that door scene?
Oh, yes.
No, he shot the guy and then pull in and then the door closes and he
Yeah.
snaps in half, right?
Why would anyone ever design a door like that? It makes but whatever. Like,
Whatever.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about like, why would you put that door in your house?
Exactly. So Lando is coming back. We see him, a glimpse of him.
Yeah.
We do not know who this bounty hunt, which Mandalorian this guy is.
Yes.
I would like him to be like you pitch, like Drive, silent,
right?
Yeah.
Silent protagonist. Because he doesn't say a single thing in this entire trailer.
Yeah.
I love the assassin droid.
Yes.
Right? It's like finally they got it right in the games, they got it right in the comics. Finally they're doing justice on live action.
Yeah.
Because he's not just a clunky robot back in like Star Wars, the original.
Right.
Yeah, so that's great. But yes, the trailer was beautifully done, right? It's a movie quality kind of trailer, right?
And you know, with the guys, you know, like twitchy fingers clutching guns,
that
you know,
Western
like very
kind of
very
feel.
Western kind of feel.
Yeah. Spaghetti Western kind
quick
of
draw
feel. Yeah,
in the bar. You know, it's a Wild West story, lah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what the Mandalorian should be, lah.
Yes,
you know,
sure.
He's a bounty hunter. You cannot get any more Western than that.
I mean, you got Gustavo Fring in there.
Yeah. Do you think that the plane looked a bit like Serenity?
Yeah. I thought it was Serenity at first.
It's like a throwback, right?
Yeah.
I saw a callback.
Yeah, like Nathan Fillion will come out, right? Gustavo Fring was in there. Oh, fuck, what's his name? Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
I should have called him Gustavo Fring. Carl Weathers is in there.
Yes.
I don't know as what, but he looks cool. When was the last time you enjoyed a Carl Weathers performance?
Oh no, then that's not Lando.
No. I assume that you...
I keep confusing Lando for Carl Weathers, but
That's
no.
racism, guys.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I confused two black old men.
Yeah. Carl Weathers, I don't know who is... I thought you had some sort of backstage news that I hadn't heard.
Oh, no.
Lando was in it.
I
So
thought that the
accepted
Carl
it at
Weathers
face
character
value.
was Lando. Sorry,
Okay.
my bad, my racism.
Okay, I accepted it at face value because I thought you read something.
No.
Okay. So that's Carl Weathers.
Yeah,
who
that's
plays
Carl
Apollo
Weathers.
Creed. If you,
Yeah,
if you don't
I know.
Yeah.
I'm a Rocky fan.
Werner Herzog also delivering like the voiceover.
Yeah.
When was the last time you heard Werner Herzog?
Bounty hunting.
When did
it's a
we-
complicated profession.
When did we last hear Werner Herzog?
I don't know. He's kind of this
He's like semi-retired, right?
this introverted, isolationist, solitude guy.
But he's then, but
Coming
whenever he
out of
comes
nowhere
out,
for fucking
exactly.
Star Wars.
Exactly.
The super like indie Khans. I only show up for Khan. Here I am in the Star Wars universe. What the fuck, sir?
I mean, he wants to make let's make some money.
That's true. I really like the idea of what Jon Favreau was talking about, that this takes place post Revenge of the Sith. Oh no, wait. Post Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi,
Correct, sorry. Episode 6. Yes. So the Empire is taken down.
Mm-hmm.
There is no law.
Nope.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we say
The New Republic is trying to re-establish order lah.
Correct. So
Yeah.
we say Wild West to mean that it is
Lawlessness.
It doesn't mean that it takes place in the Wild West or
No,
it
no,
has
no,
a
no.
dusty setting. It means an area of lawlessness where law hasn't set in yet.
Yeah.
Where people are not necessarily criminals because they're not breaking any crime.
Yeah.
They're not breaking any crime. They're not breaking any law. So they are just trying to survive,
Yeah.
right? Doing semi-illegal things, but not
Yeah.
really illegal.
Smuggling.
They're just trying to make it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the beauty of Old West shows.
Mhm.
It has a bit of modern context to it in how like America pulled out of Iraq or Afghanistan,
Yeah.
toppling the power structure without having something to replace it.
Yeah.
Like Saddam Hussein was evil, like the Sith were,
Yeah.
but then again, like
Once they go, then what
the
happens?
power vacuum is just as bad, you know.
And creates more chaos lah.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
At least it was controlled.
Yeah, exactly.
Evil in the beginning.
Yeah.
Now it is just pure anarchy, right?
Mhm.
So that's what I kind of like about it, like politically, lah. Also, they announced Clone Wars coming back next year in February 2020.
I mean, we already knew that, and now we just have a more confirmed date lah.
Season 7.
Last and final.
They didn't get quite a resolution, I feel, in
Yeah.
Clone Wars. So
Yeah.
this
would be great.
can fix it. They also announced a Cassian Andor series, which is a prequel to Rogue One,
Yeah.
starring what's his name? Gabriel Luna.
Gabriel Luna.
I almost said Pedro Pascal. That's my
That's-
racism.
Yeah. So I'm racist against blacks. You're racist against Latinos because this is your first Latino mix-up.
That's true. Also, the one everybody talks about is the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan
series.
Kenobi.
Yeah. So, of all of these, what are you excited for and why?
Oh man, I'm a great fan of the Clone Wars. Right?
Yeah.
I watched the series a billion times, so I can't wait. I mean, we've already seen the unfinished versions of it like a few years ago, I think.
Yeah.
So this will be a great return to form lah. To finally see where, because it explores more into the clone trooper psyche. It goes into more of the origins of Order 66, you know, and all that, like fully exploring it and all that in many episodes. And it's good to see characters like Anakin, who we've grown to love, characters like Rex and Obi-Wan all doing their things lah. Yeah, and also it fills the gap between Rebels and Clone Wars lah.
Yeah.
What about you, Isa?
Definitely the Mandalorian for sure.
Yes.
I am
I also like
very
2 months.
curious to see if the Darksaber makes an appearance.
Ooh, yeah,
Because it's so intimately
in the
tied
Clone Wars.
into Mandalorian
Yeah.
lore.
like the leader holds the black dark saber.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm wondering
yeah.
if they're going to work that in. I feel like that's a bit of an Easter egg that they can't pass up. So I'm curious to see how they do it, if they do it.
Because I think the last time it appeared, Darth Sidious kind of took it away. After he killed,
it away?
I think after he killed off Maul, not killed off, but tortured Maul and killed off that other Sith. Yeah,
so
Maul's
it might be.
apprentice.
It might be. So I'm curious to see
Yeah.
that, right? Because like I do feel like we've lost a bit of that artifact worship that we've had for so long, right? With Star Wars.
They kind of have it in Force Awakens, right? With Darth Vader's helmet.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so. But I mean, like it
But
holds
not
the
that
power
kind,
of its
yeah.
own, and
Yeah,
of course,
yeah,
like
yeah.
That one is more like daddy.
Daddy,
Yeah.
granddaddy.
I want to be a Nazi just like you.
Yeah,
I want to be a space Nazi.
I'm like you guys. I'm definitely hoping for a quiet protagonist.
Yeah.
I kind of like watching the trailer. Actually, reminded me of the Dread movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Carl
that's a good
Urban
one.
talked a bit, but yeah, you're right. Mostly silent protagonist.
Mostly silent protagonist.
Yeah.
I really love that movie.
Yeah. Like Sylvester Stallone's problem was he talked too much.
And he didn't wear the helmet.
He didn't.
Yeah.
He kept taking off his helmet.
Yeah.
You need to know it's me, guys.
Yeah, it's me, Sylvester.
Not that his accent would have given it away, but sure.
Over under, right? Mandalorian is better than episode 9.
I would say better lah.
Yeah?
Over.
Even with J.J. Abrams back at the home and all of that.
What we saw what he did with Force Awakens.
It is, I mean, different lah. He's ending the trilogy now.
Yeah.
Ending the Skywalker saga. Is the end of it.
Yeah. No. Thank God.
I'm just
Thank God,
curious.
right? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian had nothing to do with Star Wars.
Yes,
Exactly.
And nothing to do with the Skywalker.
I mean, like, yeah, lah, which is basically Star Wars lah.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with the first family of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So Star Wars to me, right? The reason it's operatically dark thematically.
Here and there.
It never felt like real world dark lah.
Yeah.
Not until Rogue One at least.
Yeah.
Not until Rogue One actually delved into the day-to-day violence and sacrifice. And I'm not talking about one family member dying. I'm talking about large-scale ruinous sacrifice that's needed for revolution, right?
Yeah.
In much the way that we talk about The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Rogue One actually like felt lived in and real.
I will give yeah.
The Mandalorian brought that back, man.
Yeah.
I think to me, like my opinion, Rogue One is the best of the new movies.
Strange, but I 100% agree with you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Solo, you know the shenanigans that happen behind the scenes and all that.
That was kind of barely their fault.
barely their fault. Yeah. But it wasn't a good movie lah.
Yeah,
I mean it was an okay movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. Rogue One had the most story in terms of like new characters, new developments, new canon as well. Right? Yeah, because they had to switch up a bit.
Yeah.
And that the ending like the ultimate sacrifice to save the entire galaxy.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Do you think in any of these shows, Cassian Andor or
Obi-Wan.
Mandalorian or Obi-Wan or whatever, right?
Obi-Wan's a series also, right?
Obi-Wan's a series, 8-episode series. Will they ever introduce a live action Asuka?
Oh, they kind of have to. I mean, I don't mind.
I think it will fit most in Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah. But from what I know, they don't interact throughout because she didn't really know that he was at Tatooine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think Obi-Wan would counteract or detract or add to the character development already done in Clone Wars?
Because we don't really see Obi-Wan much. Because this I think is set after Return, right?
I think so.
Yeah. No, it's not set after Return. He's dead really by Return.
Yeah.
I mean, set after Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. So we've already explored Clone Wars to Revenge of the Sith, but we haven't really explored Revenge of the Sith to Force New Hope. Last Hope. New Hope.
Last Hope.
Last Hope. Alamak. Yeah, so it's disappointing. Forgot the favorite movie of all. But anyway, so yeah, we haven't really explored that segment of Star Wars yet. For Obi-Wan's character in between, we saw glimpses of him in Rebels.
Yeah,
where Rebels is in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. So it will be interesting to see Obi-Wan's character in Tatooine lah. The only problem is I see him in Tatooine all the time lah. So the entire series is going to be in Tatooine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of limiting lah, in a way. Tatooine is a desert planet with barely anything going on.
Tatooine is great for maybe Mandalorian.
Yeah. Dusty.
But for Obi-Wan maybe not.
It'll be weird.
Yeah.
To be the only setting, because really he doesn't leave. He has to take care of Luke Skywalker until he grows up.
Yes.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right. I think the Mandalorian is going to set unfairly high expectations for the rest of the shows.
I know, right?
The talent involved like Jon Favreau and Taika Waititi and Bryce Dallas Howard and Werner Herzog and fucking crazy. I'm intrigued to see the Taika Waititi episode.
I kind of want to.
Like, how does his brand of humor fit into this world, you know?
I mean, he can't do it all.
It will be set in a bar, told from the bartender's perspective.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
But what I like about this, right, is that it allows you to have almost episodic TV one-offs. You can get creative with how you frame it, like a Taika Waititi episode. Like, you know, like Buffy can have a musical episode or something like
Yeah,
something like that. So Star Wars doesn't have to be so operatically serious all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see Star Wars experiment more.
Yeah.
That's one of the issues we always had with Star Wars.
Right. Okay, so
Yeah.
like one of the reasons I like Star Trek more is because they experiment all the time.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, given that Discovery is pushing boundaries like nobody's business, right? I think it's time that Star Wars stepped up.
I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
all the
better.
way back to the original series,
Yeah.
like in the 50s, right? They were doing time loop episodes and comedy episodes and drama episodes and Old West episodes, things like that, like,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like they played the holodeck a lot, lah.
Yeah, they did. It was boring because everything was peaceful.
Correct, right? It's a utopia, right? That's why DS9 was quite fun.
Exactly.
I think this is it for this episode of Genre Equality.
Yeah.
Next month we'll be back talking about oh my god, so many things.
Let's go.
I'm so tired thinking about it. We have It Chapter 2.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
We have Dark Crystal Age of Resistance.
That'll be fun.
Not to be confused with the Star Wars Age of Resistance. You know, they rebranded the various eras.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
one
yeah.
is Age of Resistance,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I will be talking about, speaking of BoJack Horseman's creator, Bob Waxberg, his new show Undone,
Yeah.
premiering on Amazon next month, called Undone. It's
Undone.
a rotoscoped animation thing,
Yeah.
starring Alita Battle Angel and Saul Goodman.
I like how you don't know her name.
Rosa Salazar.
There we go.
Rosa Salazar.
See?
Salazar.
Rosa
Racist.
Salazar.
Racist.
Rosa Salazar and Bob Odenkirk. Not Saul Goodman. Also, Brad Pitt has a very brooding sci-fi show.
Oh, yes.
Movie called Ad Astra.
With, what's his name? Tommy Lee Jones, right?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good, actually.
Yeah. Also, the writer-director of Your Name, coming out with a new anime movie called Weathering with You.
Which has done exceptionally well so far in the box office.
Correct.
Nice,
correct.
nice.
Me and Isa will be talking about Steven Universe, the movie. Looking forward to that.
I might join
a lot.
you on that, though.
Oh,
Sure,
nice.
sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're catching up on
I'm
Steven
catching up on
Universe.
Steven
Okay,
Universe.
Nice.
cool.
Also, Carol and Tuesday wraps up. We'll be talking about singer-songwriters on Mars once
Ooh.
again. Also, I'll be talking about briefly Young Justice Outsiders. I like it lah, but there's nothing much to add lah.
Okay.
Beyond our first review that we done already, so I think
It's
it's
the
gonna
same
be quick hits.
Okay.
Also, there's a new show called Carnival Row, which is set in like a Victorian era with fairies.
What
I'm not sure
What
about
album
that.
is this?
We'll have a talk about it.
It stars Cara Delevingne. Basically, it's a bunch. It's set in a vague Victorian era. Not in this world, but it looks Victorian, steampunky.
Oh, okay.
And there are a bunch of mythical races like trolls.
I mean,
and,
I've been pining for a good steampunky kind of.
and like
series
gnomes
though.
and fairies, right? But the
Yeah.
problem is the humans have wiped out all their natural land and habitat,
Oh,
so they
wow.
all have to live together in this giant melting pot city lah. That evokes 1800s London lah. And it's a story about how basically bigotry and racism lah.
Okay lah, so we kind of have seen that before.
But
lah.
also it stars Cara Delevingne lah.
Which hasn't given me a lot of
Yeah,
confidence
which is
also.
the first thing. It's like, oh, the acting can't be great then.
Yeah, I mean, I love her, but
Who's the rest of the supporting
Never
cast?
mind, yeah.
Orlando Bloom is in it. Is the opposite love interest.
okay.
Yeah, so he's a detective because you
A
have to
Victorian
have the detective.
No shit.
She is the star-crossed lover
Oh,
related
okay.
to the victim. So yeah, that's
Fun
the
times.
story. And for the poll list, we're talking about a comic book called Die, which is actually about a bunch of RPG players who are sucked into the game and are traumatized and really fucked up by it. It's like the anti-Jumanji.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been this has been hits. This is me lah. This has been it for Genre Equality. I'm Hidzir.
I'm Hardy.
I'm Isa.
Goodbye, guys.
Thanks, guys.